Greetings and salutations. You've successfully arrived at the Bloody Disgusting Network. Coming up next is something indescribable, tantalizing, and mind-numbing. Enjoy.
My friendship to all of you precludes my involvement with any one of you. But if you wanna make love, then I do too, and I'll be right there behind you. All in the name of oh, all in the name of oh, all in the name of
Greetings, constant listeners, and welcome once again to another episode of The Losers Club, a Stephen King podcast presented by Consequence of Sound. We are at the end. We can see the light at the end of the sewers here. This is part 5 of It, part 6 of our ongoing It coverage. And it will cover part 5, the Ritual of Chüd. My name is Mel Marshmallow Castle. It took me up to part 5 to actually come up with a good nickname that conflates Beverly Marsh and my name. I'm located in Iowa City, sitting all alone in an office, but I think far away I'm sending my power to 3 of my friends.
Oh, God.
Can they tell me who they are?
Hey, as what's been well established, this is Justin Richie Trashmouth Tozier Gerber. Thanks again for all the votes out there from all of our constant listeners. And yeah, I'm back. This is my 3rd straight episode of It coverage. I started at Grown Ups, did the old part 4, and now we're closing it out with Chüd. You know, it's funny because I always pronounce it's Chud.
Yeah.
But
it's Chüd, it has the umlaut.
You're right. It does have the umlaut. But the thing is, like, I learned German years after I read it. So for me, it's always Chud. I think about that movie Chud that does not have the umlaut.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always in my brain that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because there's that. I mean, they're underground dwellers, right? Like it's
exactly.
They live in the sewers too.
What is it, like creature humanoids under something?
Underdwellers. Yeah.
Underdwellers.
I don't know.
That's about right.
That
Anyway,
sounds like a British slang for your underpants.
Well, you know, I'm happy to be back. It's funny because we also did multiple episodes. I think we did 3+ episodes for The Stand, but for me, this has been far more pleasurable, at least for me. Anyway, and I just wanted to say that. So it's been a blast.
It's really sweet, Justin.
Thank you.
I think your brother, or no, let's go over to.
Oh, no, I could be his brother too.
Yeah, sure.
If you want me to try.
From another mother. Let's go.
This is Aisha. I never can think of a name because I never think about this outside of this place. So I have no nickname right now, but I'm joining for part 3 for me because I did Grown Ups with you
we've done them all together.
Yeah. This will be my last one though because I'll be in Seattle doing things. So
if you're looking for her, she'll be in Seattle in a couple weeks. Everybody.
Yeah, don't look for me.
Don't
I'll
do
be
that.
with my
Please
mother
don't
and
do
my
that.
sister. I don't want to embarrass my mother further than I already have.
Aisha, you can be Aisha, Eater of Worlds.
Well, okay, so that brings me to a comment I have for later about that you know, gender in life because I'm hypersensitive about life.
This is Mackenzie Haystacks Gerber coming at you, not so live from the Losers Club office here. Really excited to be on this episode. So much happens, and just ready to dive into that to the old Barons.
I'm afraid to, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but we have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
We've come this far.
I believe
27
in you.
years apart. Yeah. So I am so excited. There's a lot does happen in this section. We get the actual cosmic battle rendered in much more detail than it has been previously.
Oh yeah.
The friendships come to a head. So let's just dive right in. Again, as a reminder, if you're coming to this and this is your first episode of our It coverage for your ears, you might want to go back. We do discuss the structure, the format, the hook, things that we would typically discuss in a single book episode in our previous It episodes. But here we do things a little differently since we are we've already established a lot of the characters and a lot of the structure of the book. We kind of just dive right into a section that we call Heroes and Villains.
I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown. Welcome to the Losers Club, asshole!
All right, part 5, The Ritual of Chüd. And we're going to say Chüd. That's how I choose to say it.
That's how you choose to say it. Okay.
Choose.
Yeah.
I remember.
This starts with chapter 19 in the Watches of the Night. And I think we've been kind of going through chapter by chapter or thematic instance by thematic instance in the past and examining characters as we encounter them. And I have no inclination to break up that pattern unless anyone objects.
No, I think especially this part, it's almost impossible to jump around too much because it just goes, it barrels through all the way to the end in real time in both instances,
right.
you know.
So actually, we should actually talk about that structure real quick.
Yeah.
Every heading here gives us some context in italics. It's like either a location or it can be something as simple as like underground or out or whatever, or it can be like a character name, like from Tom's perspective, usually a time, sometimes a year. Sometimes it can be confusing because we're really whiplashing between the two time periods and to the point where things are cut off mid-sentence. And we're going from the kids to the adults, back to the kids in a way that feels climactic to me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're getting two final acts, two climaxes at the same time. Very unique.
Much like Bev later on.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks for jumping on that one.
Wow. Well, we'll get to
Hey,
that.
I also like that this chapter starts off with 19.
Oh yeah, you're right. Of course, it's where it all ends. I've got some 19 for King's Dominion later on too.
Oh,
So don't worry, it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm very interested in that.
Oh yeah.
I always wonder which of the brothers is going to be more of a conspiracy theorist during Kingston.
Well, beep beep, Mel, because it's going to be me this episode. I can tell you that.
I don't know. There's so much Dark Tower shit that I'm interested in.
Oh my
Mac.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I have that category, the things I glean along the beam, but oh my God, it's almost too much. I almost had to just be like, you know what, we're just going to talk about it as it happens, because if I separated it, it'd be like half the fucking section.
I feel like it's so weird when I was reading this and I'm thinking of all these things that I'm probably missing from other King's books, and I'm thinking in my head about all of you all going, oh my God, and oh my God. So it took me so much longer to read through this chapter because I was like trying so hard to see something that it'd be impossible for me to see because I have no idea what I'm looking for.
Well, there's one huge one that I totally forgot about that I'm very excited about.
I think we might be on the same page here. It might be in this chapter as well. So, or this particular section, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we can look at the quotes here. Part 5, The Ritual of Chüd. We get another quote from William Carlos Williams from his epic poem Patterson, which again is about a town, a man as a town, the decay of a town. And it certainly matches up well here. And
Absolutely.
then we have Carl Shapiro, Travelogue for Exiles, which I'm not really familiar with. And I guess I read this now, having read the book, this quote, look and remember, look upon this land, far, far across the factories and the grass, surely they will let you pass. Speak then and ask the forest and the loam, what do you hear? What does the land command? The earth is taken. This is not your home. I guess maybe I read that as a incantation against it. But I don't know if anyone has other takes.
No, I think you're right.
That plays, especially if you look at the first part having to do with it specifically, and then this having to do with the rejection of it. You know, that makes sense in terms of how they're presented back to back like that. Yeah. Let's ask Steven. Hold on. Let me give him a call.
Okay, sure. Can we get him on the phone?
Sure. Oh, he's not answering. He's too busy with Molly, the Thing of Evil right now.
All right, one day.
But we'll go ahead and just say that ours is the definitive answer. That's absolutely correct what we said.
I wonder if he even remembers. Like, it'd be interesting to be like, this quote, why did you put it here? Like, I feel like I would forget.
Well, you know,
Like
this
it
is still,
sounded
we're still in that Cocaine King train right now, so it's possible that he might not remember exactly why he went there with a couple things for that
Maybe
matter.
he'll remember the cocaine he was on while doing it. That might be.
He's like, I forgot, so I must have been on cocaine.
So we're back in the library. We've just remembered all the events at Niebolt Street. I say Niebolt. I don't.
Yeah, I say Niebolt too. I think maybe it's Niebolt, but it just sounds better as Niebolt.
In my
Yeah,
head,
it definitely
I read it both
does.
ways.
I know the NEI, but come on.
Are you guys going to say that it definitively sounds better?
I'm just going to call it Chüd Street to make it easier.
Chud Road.
Chud Road. Chud Road.
Across the road, the Chud Road.
Spoken by Judd.
Oh,
So
wow.
Chud's on the Chud Road. Anyway, so they kind of have to go their separate ways for the night. But first, they experience some weird surge of power and link hands, and it's kind of just an affirmation that they're where they need to be, and the battle is about to start again. Mike stays in the library, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
he wants to kind of write down some secretarial minutes, and Beverly leaves with Bill. And then we get the kind of escalation with her father. Tell me if I'm skipping over anything.
No, you're
that you
right.
guys want to
It
talk
does.
about, but
That's the first thing. Yeah, I mean, that's a brief moment, and it kind of sets up what's going to happen for the adults the rest of the way. And then, yeah, we do flash back to Bev's encounter with her father, at least the last one that we see in this book.
yeah, I forgot so much about how this goes down. I forgot that the mud on his shoes is so terrifying to me that her father actually went down to spy on them in the Barrens and was there at some point in time just watching them.
But like that he also waited till she got home. It wasn't like, because that's to me creepier than like just trouncing there. Yeah, she would have been in trouble and probably he would try to beat her then. But like the fact that he just sat there and waited and meditated on it too.
Well, it's probably psychologically will screw her up too, because obviously she would assume that if she got caught, she would get called out immediately. But making her wait to come all the way home and then still waiting a little bit longer and then jumping on it is awful.
Disturbing.
Yeah. Father of the Year, by the way.
We should talk about Elmarsh probably. This is his last appearance.
It is. And this is also important because Bev sees it working through him. This is one of those instances where you see him kind of corrupting the adults. I think there's a quote I'll read. It says, Bev suddenly understood that she was alone in the apartment alone with it on this dozy August morning. There was not the thick sense of power and untinctured evil she had felt in the house on Niebolt Street, thank you very much, a week and a half ago. It had been diluted somehow by her father's essential humanity, but it was here working through him.
So are we supposed to believe that he's actually a good guy, that
No.
it has been working through him the whole time?
She even says later, you let it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, think about who
It's
he
a
works
mix.
through. He works through Al. He works through Henry. He works through Tom Rogan. I mean, these are bad people to begin with, and I think it makes it much easier to corrupt evil.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I think
Totally.
it's also just an example of him always being present in the town in some capacity, you know, whenever I mean, it is like it says in that passage, it is his town, you know.
Right. And although to your point, Mac, and I think to the book's credit, we do get these flashes of love that she's experienced with her father as she's running from him, the memories of him like trying to braid her hair, and making cinnamon eggnogs, and it's just very sad. That's going to be a theme of this ending is so sad on so many levels, so tragic. Does not redeem him at all, but complicates him in a way that I will just reiterate, I don't think we get with Tom, and so it's more real to me, and all the more tragic and awful that he is this terrible, abusive guy in this moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's the point I was trying to make in the first episode, was that we get a lot more of Al's background and glimpses of those moments where what makes it so confusing for her, you know.
It's a brutal conditioning that happens, I think, when that happens when you're younger. At least from friends of mine have discussed these things, you know.
It kind of was weird too, because I just like specifically with the relationship between Bev and her father, but then like an overall theme of the book of just like nothing is squeaky clean, nothing is simple, and yet there's a part, and I wrote it in my notes for something else. Basically, that the answers can be simple when you're a child because there's not as many complex things to worry about and deal with, but in the same point and frame, these kids are dealing with very conflicting, like Bev's dealing with something that should be simple. You should hate your father because he's beating the crap out of you and he's abusive and he's taking advantage of you. But at the same time, it's intermixed with those memories of something good, of like what changed. So it's like this battle between things should be easy and simple and squeaky clean and there's a happy ending and everyone lives. But that's not true because life is dirty and complex and there's grays and yellows and blues and everything.
And it's easy for her to hate it because all she knows of it is the evil. There's no, and it's kind of in that passage I read, there's no humanity in it. Whereas there's ultimately still some humanity in these other characters, even though like they suck, obviously, but there's still an essence there that it does not have.
Well, and it's so scary too because there's parts of the abuse she doesn't quite understand. And here we achieve some of that understanding where she finally realizes like, oh, she thinks I've had sex with these boys. And this is kind of about his ownership of me in that way. And we get the first kind of explicit sexual order from him towards her. Yeah. And it's not really comprehensible, but she sort of gets it, and it keeps echoing around in her mind, the order that he gives her to take her pants off, and it's just brutal.
You know, Mel, I totally forgot about that part in the book. about this moment, at least when he's telling her to take her pants off. Totally forgot about that part. Because I think maybe something happened similar in the movie, and I thought, oh, why did they do that? That doesn't happen in the book. But obviously, it does happen in the book, and it's a tough read, obviously.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we get the kind of like vocal component of that when Pennywise is posing as Mrs. Kirsch and as her father, which is obviously way more vulgar.
Yeah.
But yeah, just coupled with this, it's like everything's coming to fruition. Everything is coming together, and it's terrible. And she has to escape, and she runs away. And I feel so bad for her in all these moments because she cannot catch a break. It's like she escapes from her dad.
Every time you try to breathe for her, it's like, fuck, really again?
And even when she finally, gets out and tries to run away, this is another example of, there's a lot of sequences in this book that are really effective where a chase goes on longer than you think it's going to go on. Like, especially, we talked about this earlier when Richie and Bill are running from the werewolf from Nebel Street, and it just keeps going on. In most horror, it just ends once they get out of the house, but the chase keeps happening in public. And this, in the afternoon, and once again, seeing how the town just turns its back and just is not affected by it at all. It's kind of a callback to the fourth interlude when that, what's his name? Hero, or what's his name?
Edgar?
Yeah, he tells that story about the union guy who goes in an axe killing spree and nobody does anything.
Or Haru.
Yeah. Some great name, I forgot what it was. But it kind of it sets this up, I think, in terms of the complicit ignorance of the town when bad things are happening around, and especially when they're happening on a specific time when the period of it is about to end.
And even if they do like kind of shake themselves from that like deep haze, like that old woman who stopped, like they're powerless still to do anything because I don't know, I guess maybe they've been in that grip for too long, or like it just, because Henry, I don't know, if I was that old lady.
Yeah, I would also run. I mean, I don't blame her
I
for...
was telling her to run over him with the car, but that would have been me.
Yeah, that's right. Back in reverse.
Right.
The book is like 200 pages shorter. And then they got down the sewers and they killed it, and that was it. Everybody's fine.
This is an interesting, I never really realized this, just on the subject of Al Marsh. We don't see him again, and we don't see, like, I don't know, not a reconciliation, but like Beverly has to go home at the end of the book. We don't really know what happens at that point. Maybe he doesn't remember, maybe she doesn't remember, but I thought it was a weird loose end for me that I was like, how do they go on living with each other?
I think that goes to your point of them not remembering, because at one point, I don't remember what page, but it's like Bill's walking home after it's all done. He's like whistling. Like at first he starts thinking about supper, and then he starts whistling, and it's just kind of like slowly forgetting. Because I mean, if you've just been through a traumatic experience, you're not like whistling, like going home and like thinking about what you're gonna eat. You're like traumatized, I would think. So I think they probably all forgot, and just there was just the turmoil of the town falling apart that kind of took over everything else.
I think, I agree. I think I also think the extreme of what Al was doing was so informed by like by it. Yeah, and so that also probably plays a part. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, it was just one of those situations where he had forgotten about it by the time she got back home, and she had probably forgotten about it as well. That's how powerful that presence was in the town. And then it's gone. It's just, I can't even imagine what the feeling would be like. And I never do. I never want to know.
All right, so we get, this is so jumpy. It's so jumpy around. We go from Beverly escaping from her father and being stalked by the bullies to Mike back at the library, finishing up his notes.
Still overnight.
Still overnight, feeling all of a sudden like he's not alone, like he's being watched. And I found this a very, very scary sequence.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Because of the sheer physicality of the thing that's coming after him, as opposed to the more abstract terrors that it can throw at you. There's an actual man in here, and he's like coming down this corridor, slowly getting revealed, and it's Henry Bowers out for blood.
I feel like at first he probably did just think it was Pennywise screwing with him again, because he'd done it a couple times already to him. He did it privately, and he did it with the group, and then I just, there's no way he would have thought Henry Bowers was going to be in that library. I can't imagine what the brain would register,
But then he also just talks about, at one point, like he had really, like these random off thoughts, which I kind of like that King uses throughout the story of like, I'm in a moment of terror, but like I also have these strange random thoughts. And he's like, I haven't read the paper in a few days. I haven't listened to the radio. I do that every day. Like he would have known but like something had pushed him to not be on his daily schedule.
Right.
Yeah, those parts are so scary to me too. just these little ticks that you don't engage in, and it's fatal, or it can be. And this feels, I mean, I do feel like it's the most personal bullied relationship between Mike and Henry. So it feels natural that this is the confrontation that we get. That's like has the most weight to it with Henry. What do you guys think? I mean, we should talk about Mike too, because he's kind of out of commission after this, at least in a physical way.
I think something important is that if you think about it, there's a part here where they say, you know, if Mike really wanted to, he could have killed Henry. There's a certain point where I think he had the knife or he had some sharp object and could have, but the inherent goodness of Mike, I think, prevents him from doing this.
Right.
You know, and I wonder what that would have done for the rest of the book if he had killed Henry right then and there. But he couldn't do it, you know.
Through the night. I mean, he went to Eddie next, and they would have gone the next morning, I guess.
But then again, like they said, you know, it feels like the town would somehow conspire against Mike and blame Mike for the murder, and then they'd all be in jail. I think a similar outcome would have happened.
Right. Had he killed him and not been as damaged and been able to go with them, I don't know if he would have survived. I think this was. Even though, well, I guess the turtle's dead.
Or is it?
I think this was, as much as this was its doing, I think it was kind of a way of kind of saving Mike. Because he's not in harm's way. And then they're able to protect him from that other assailant later on by sending their power.
That's right.
So I kind of see, like, I kind of feel like he gets saved in a way by this act. But not by it, you know. I just think that had he gone, I don't know if he would have made it out.
I wonder if this was fate or the turtle's way of saying, "You've done your job for 27 years. Thank
it's time
you
for these jokers
let these people
to go.
Let these people do something for once in their lives." You know?
Well, but when you're reading it for the first time, I felt like so much dread. I mean, having their number diminished by Stan alone was already like, oh fuck, and they pulled this off, and now Mike's in the hospital.
I know,
and you really start to doubt, like, there's only 5 of them.
I know, and I thought that he was. I remember the first time I saw the movie, of course, beforehand. I thought I thought he died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, they weren't sure though. He was like still in critical care. So.
Yeah. And even throughout this, it's I don't know, but very intense part. And anytime you deal with for me, bones going the wrong direction or like femoral arteries being cut, pass.
Yeah. How do you pass out and keep it together at the same time?
If that happened to me, there's no way I would have the wherewithal to say, like, let me try a tourniquet. I would just start screaming and squeezing the wound or something like that. I'd be like, please, God, get me out of here.
Visual imagery.
Fight or flight, I'd probably like just go sleep, you know. That's my thing.
This is why he's Mike Hanlon.
That's why he's Mike Hanlon. I'm not Mike Hanlon. There you go.
Another really scary thing when he's trying to call for help and it's just Pennywise and he doesn't know if he's actually gotten through to anybody.
Yes. And he's like, I'm just talking to anything.
Yeah. But Pennywise just keeps talking and saying hello. It's just creepy.
Yeah, I agree. That's really cool part there too. Yeah, I think that might be in my cemetery section as well.
It made me think a lot. I mean, just because of how racially charged their whole relationship is and how Mike and his father are just like kind of stand-ins for conservative victimhood is all I know America. And I don't know, I just felt like this was coming to a head, and the metaphor of that like was very effective for me.
I feel like, in that sense, like everyone comes away scarred and bloodied, and there was no clear answer too. It's not like Stephen King was trying to answer that question too. I feel like that was stated. It was just like it just is bloody and terrible, and everyone goes away with some sort of scar.
Sometimes the femoral artery gets cut.
Yeah. Pass, as Justin.
Hard pass.
Well, now I know what to do when I get cut on my leg.
And Henry does. We also have to mention though. Henry does get hurt here, like you said. Henry does.
Pretty badly. He gets stabbed in the belly.
Yeah, he sure does.
Yeah.
And then
we go back to Bill and Bev.
Yep. Well, actually, this part.
Well, it's Henry.
Oh, Henry is stalking Bev in this little brief flashback again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's when it's revealed that the moon has started to talk to him.
And this is when the old lady stops the car and says, "Stop what you're doing." And Bev even says, "He has a knife. He has a knife. Please help."
The guy gets up and goes inside his house.
Yeah, puts his paper away.
And then the old lady gets chased.
And then again, we're back in the present again. And this is, I think, Bev and Bill's moments. They're
Tender moments.
tender moments. And then she also reveals here that she reveals the truth about Tom.
Right. She's been lying this whole time.
Yeah, and she confesses, I think my father would have approved of Tom because they both always worried about me. Her worried as in like overbearing, behavior around her. And then, of course, a little pound cake. Little tender pound cake.
We'll get to the pound cake
Can't
during
wait,
pound cake.
yeah.
But there is a bit of
it's not as bad as
It's not. It's definitely not. But there's definitely some pound
There's
cake going on.
some.
It's like a slice,
There's some decent stuff, but then there's a couple lines in there that are.
It's a sample at a grocery store. And then a little cup. They serve it to you, It's a little
Gave
bit,
you
a little
too
taste.
much.
Yeah.
Like, do you want some more of this or not? There's also a little bit of a little shaming going on here. Because if they had just gone back to their rooms, Bev would have seen that Kay had called and would have warned
Audra's
her.
called.
Yeah, and Audra's called. Yeah. So,
Burn.
a little shaming going on here by Stephen King.
There's also the
Shaming Mike for not putting a knife in Henry's neck, and then shaming Bev and Bill for hooking up.
I always thought it's the first time I'm reading it. This section when they're like getting it on, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere she's just like, all of you, I made love to all of you. It's just a strange,
I remember reading this like, what the
line,
fuck
and
are
I
you
was
talking
like,
about?
What?
I'm like, pull out.
I was like, oh,
Pull out. That's what she said.
It's like, here comes some of the groundwork for later on.
I thought, maybe she's being metaphorical.
Yeah, right. Well,
Nope.
yeah, well, I know what's coming, so I mean, so
That's what she also said.
For me,
Okay, we got a lot of.
Christ.
We could go on, and like again, that's what they were doing. Yeah. So then we once again go back, Mel, and that is when we learn about Ben or Henry getting that knife from a Mr. Robert Gray. Once again, a name that's never explained, which is creepy as hell.
Love it.
And
Wait, I want to go back just so quickly to the fact that I'm not even a huge fan of the way the invisible hand is felt in this sex scene because of Bill thinking about his wife, and he's like, I just need to hold the thought in my mind that I'm cheating on Audra. Like, what does that make me feel like?
Like,
and
does that make you? Is that supposed to make you feel better?
Yeah, I was.
But he can't do it. Like, it's this is so fated to happen that like,
Oh yeah.
there's no culpability whatsoever, and it's just King being like, look, if you're ever in this situation, it's okay to sleep with your childhood friend.
It's okay if it's been 27 years and you swore to come back to kill a killer clown from outer space.
It's totally fine.
It's fine.
There's echoes of the dead zone, and
yes,
it just feels very personal.
Him,
maybe.
there's a lot of affairs going on in King books. We wish him all the best.
It's always like, we didn't get to consummate this when we wanted to, and now it's like just only natural that we would consummate it.
Maybe King knew a clown when he was younger, and
maybe he knew a Bev when he was younger.
Oh no, I meant he was romantically involved with a clown.
That's what I was
hope so.
hearing.
Who isn't? Who isn't attracted to clowns?
I mean, orange puffs, red nose,
white makeup, red tufts of hair.
Ooh, I imagine my clowns as giant ravens with orange puffs on their tongues.
Ooh.
Oh, I like my clowns in full clown get up, but like a Doberman head. I think that's also a lot of fun. It answers all my questions.
We get Bev hiding with Ben in the clubhouse. They share some tender moments that are really nice. I think this was like so much more deftly handled than I would expect of King.
Yeah.
Like I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop and have someone be like, but he was fat and therefore ugly and she could never love him. Or but he really actually gives a lot of like validity to the love that they share.
I agree. I've got some of these little passages in my word processor of the gods for later on.
Yeah,
I think it's really sweet the way, and it feels like 11 or 12-year-old behavior. It really does, especially how close they were that summer.
It feels older to me. It felt older than that, though. I mean, this is where she reveals that she knows that he wrote the poem, right? Yeah.
It's very touching. I don't know, but also while Henry's stalking, we get a little information, like I said, from King about the knife and how he almost under a spell just goes up to Butch Bowers, who's passed out from drinking, and just holds the knife there for a minute,
and then somebody says it's okay to do it,
and then kills him off right then and there. And now we know that Henry's gone. To quote Billy Crystal, "You went too far." It's the third episode in a row I've made a Billy Crystal reference.
Yeah.
It's a very unique death. Like, I wonder if that would actually happen. You hold a switchblade up.
That's what my question was.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just trying to intimate that it was so sharp, and this was not like any other switchblade.
It was a Pennywise switchblade.
What if it was signed like Mr. Robert Gray on it?
With
balloons. Balloons
But
on the
it is
handle.
that ease.
Creepy.
That's like all you have to do is push a button. Like, you don't even have to stab. You just push a button.
Bam.
Slides right through.
I guess if you do get like the fleshy part of the neck, I guess. Let me test this out real quick.
I know. Do we have a knife that
Oh, I carry around a switchblade all the time.
with a button release though? I don't have a button release.
Oh no, mine's a cool like.
Yeah.
I think I used to have a comb that was a button release.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We were
Yeah, when
greasers
we were
back
cool
in the day
kids,
too. Okay, so yeah, like you said, Mel. I mean, this thing flashes back and forth really well. But I like the pacing wise. I think this is one of like the best climaxes of any of his books.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's just boom. It's 5 o'clock here. It's 3 o'clock over there. It's 5:12 here. It's 3. I mean, it is moving in real time essentially, and it works really well, especially when you're having to deal with again 2 climaxes. But so after this, we're then back to the present. And Mel, is this what you're talking about when somebody
definitely
comes
is.
up?
Yeah.
Belch comes up in a certain car.
Certain make and model of car.
Love it. I'm all
Model
aboard.
and color. Yeah,
I'm all aboard.
as well.
It's Christine, baby. From Fury 58.
mentioned this to Justin because I was reading it ahead of him.
Yeah.
And he's read it multiple times. And I mentioned this, but I didn't say exactly what it was. I just said, huge King's Dominion just happened in this portion of the book. And he could not tell me he couldn't even remember what it was.
Well, I thought this actually happened
and I thought,
earlier.
how did you forget this?
No, I thought that this had happened earlier.
Oh, okay.
I thought that this moment happened. See, what I thought had happened my memory was that Butch and Christine pick him up when he gets out of Juniper Hill. See, I thought it happened earlier. I didn't realize it happened this late in the book. Listen, after Mike Hanlon was attacked, I didn't realize
Well,
that.
I had never appreciated this until now. After I'd read Christine, I've read it multiple times and never thought anything of this moment. Just that it was like a car that King liked.
Yeah.
But
What I like
just
about this, and like for Aisha too, I feel even if you like the Easter eggs, you don't have to get the Easter eggs right off the bat. It still works. It's not like it's some
like
Star
I knew
Wars thing,
it was something important, and
Yeah.
especially because they go into like how Henry's father wanted that car. He's going to be buried in that car. So I was like, I know there's something here.
that's so
I just don't-
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
it just
aboard.
mirrors the parallel like of Belch being a corpse in front, just like happens in Christine.
Yep.
You're always being driven around with or by a corpse. It's just a great little nod.
And we'll talk about this. I've got a little cemetery portion for this Christine moment. But anyway, we're all happy to see Christine. I feel like if this wasn't handled as well, this could have been one of those King stomping on the brakes and kind of taking us out of the action. But if anything, this is keeping the action going. He's taking Henry to go kill somebody else.
Yeah.
And we
She's
get more
taking-
Henry development. We get like a flicker of guilt for leaving his friend behind in those tunnels.
Yeah. I wonder though if it's more guilt because of the fear that Butch is going to do something
definitely.
to him.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
totally.
He keeps looking at him like,
Belch doesn't say anything. He just like turns at him, looks at him every so often, and then goes back. And like, that's cemetery for me too. So I won't get into that line. But yeah, that whole car scene.
Butch and Vic are not in good shape.
I don't want to get too sidetracked, but when I was researching this, because I was curious if this was supposed to actually be Christine, they said that in The Stand that Stu and Tom find a Plymouth Fury, and that there was on a keychain it said AC, so it's supposed to be R.G. Cunningham, so it's supposed to be in that universe.
How do I not remember that?
And that's why I was like, I need to go back and look at that because I don't remember that happening. I don't remember us covering that.
I think Christine can drive along the beam.
I think she is Fury.
She's an old
She is
ghost
everything.
car.
Absolutely. But there's certain Dark Tower books that kind of allude that the Stand takes place in a different where and when. But we'll talk about that in about 2 years when we start doing some more Dark Tower, later Dark Tower books.
Yeah.
But anyway,
a good 2 years.
Yeah. And so once again, though, we're back to the past, and this is when Bill and the losers
Well, first
decide.
Henry
do it.
goes to see Eddie.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
He gets
That's right.
dropped off at Eddie at the townhouse, and he gets a great little. I love when King puts in these little visuals. We get a memo from Pennywise with all their room numbers, which is really creepy.
Or was it the balloons?
Yeah.
There's like balloon designs on there. He has some flourishes now and then. Does our Mr. Robert Gray?
So we don't actually get an attack yet. We get him coming to Eddie's door, Eddie answering the door, and then we flash back to the past again.
I love it because it's keeping you on edge chapter by chapter. Or part by part, I should say. It works for me. I keep saying effective, but God damn it, it is effective.
We get some musings from Eddie on religion in this section. blasphemy and religion, and on Stan and being Jewish, and all religions being weird, which has to do with belief. And I kind of wish he had gone a little bit further in there, but what space did he have? None. So it's fine.
Exactly. I mean, so there's just also the part where the kids. Oh no, this is not the part. So then, after this, don't we go back then to Eddie and?
Yeah,
and
then
Henry?
we get Eddie and Henry. God, arm break. I've broken my arm.
Ugh.
Just how it breaks along the old break, and it just sounds awful.
Anyway,
and
sorry.
I guess meant to be, but
Mac and I are
Aisha,
Well, we all like just. Oh God, Jesus.
but Aisha and I were we just locked eyes like, yeah, we never have, and we both knocked on wood at the same time.
I thought I did, but I just had a bad ankle sprain. I could have sworn I'd cracked that thing in half. But earlier in the book, I think Eddie is able to use his disadvantages to his advantage. You know, he's got acid reflux. And he thinks, or does he really have acid reflux? You know, and then but he's got that Perrier bottle because of that. So if he didn't have those issues, he would not have had that bottle maybe to help him in this instance.
it's literally like signs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Swing away, Eddie. Swing away. But I'm happy that Eddie, after the shit that, once again, Henry put him through as a kid, I mean, he broke his arm. That was the most severe damage, I guess, besides Ben getting the initials in him. But I was very happy with my bloodthirsty mind to see Eddie kill off Henry once and for all. Very happy for him.
And you really feel like Henry's an easy target. I mean, not Henry, but Eddie. You think Eddie's going to probably get killed in
You're
this
worried.
scene?
Yeah.
So
All
the
of
fact
them.
that he is the one that's able to finally get Henry where it counts is intense.
And of course, you know, you said earlier, the arm break, obviously, just like the arm break when he was a kid. So we're all once again kind of going back into the regression and going back in time.
I do think it is important and effective, to use Justin's word, that he goes after Eddie here, and that Eddie has this broken arm for the remainder of their terrible journey into the sewers. And it really just plays up how Eddie's resilience is like a hugely valuable quality. Like, he might not be the one to jump forward and do something crazy innovative, but he is so loyal and so resilient that he will go through these sewers with a fucking broken arm.
I know. I mean, think about him. He was always running away from the bullies as a kid, but he's very brave when it comes to being with his friends and standing up to Pennywise multiple times just to try to save the day. And poor little Eddie, we'll get to him later on too, I guess. Yeah. Oh God, I'm thinking about the end.
Hasn't happened yet. And then
Hasn't happened yet.
We go back to the past.
Back to the past.
The losers meet up. Bill and Mike and Eddie and Co are coming down to the Barrens to meet Ben and Bev. And they kind of decide to like stand their ground, basically. Bill says, you know, this isn't their property. This is where we've been playing. Nobody owns this. We're going to confront them. And they get rocks thrown at them in a callback to the apocalyptic rock fight. Let's see here.
Well, I think they also realize it's now or never because they start talking about how earlier in the day it seemed like all the adults were ignoring them already.
Oh my God, this is so freaky.
Yeah, with the exception, obviously, of Audra. Hey, there you go. I'm like Bill, of Bev's father, you know, being used as a weapon against her, but everybody else is just almost acting like they're dead, you know, or already unwilling to help them whatever happens, which is
right.
Horrible.
Even Eddie's mother is like not chastising him about going outside.
Yeah, that's right. That's the most disturbing of all. If I was Eddie, you know. Then they decide to go, right?
And Bill says, "Take us to that drain," and they go to that drain, and they're going down to the dark, and that's how this chapter ends. It's kind of just building up to going down beneath the city,
and then we have a brief, three uninvited strangers moment here where we catch up with Tom and Audra, right? At this point,
right? This is a very short chapter. Chapter 20, the circle closes, and the first little bit is from Tom's perspective, and Tom is kind of being overlaid with Henry Bowers, and
makes
experiencing this memory dream thing as Henry, and experiencing Beverly and knowing that she is back there with them is what keeps him from questioning this weird scenario, even though now he's seeing crazier and crazier things.
I mean, he's basically the new Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not any more obvious than it is now, you know, where he's literally just dreaming that he is Henry. So, and
the mantle.
Yeah, and passing the mantle, exactly. And it is able to use, again, Tom's anger and hatred to his advantage. It's like he's able to use the same thing with Almarsh and Henry.
I'm interested why King chose to give Audra and Tom specific memories of, like, why did he feel it was necessary to connect Tom in that way, as opposed to just,
I will say that I feel like it diminishes Audra to be like, well, she's actually just Bev 2.0.
And then Tom is kind of like Henry 2.0, though, I guess. I think the thing with Audra is they did keep saying, I think in the back of Bill's mind, the attraction for Audra is because she reminded him of Bev. And I think it's natural.
Just so shitty.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, but I think that's just a natural thing. That's like a memory, and then that's why I think that's the reason they did it.
Hey, look, not everybody can be special, so.
That's right.
I wish she had a little bit more agency. Like, it literally is just like she loves him so much that she follows him. She's unaware that he's sleeping with Beverly, who's like the better version of her. And then she gets kidnapped and hung up in a cocoon. And like, that's it. Like, I don't know.
I think her resolution, and especially Tom's resolution, are a little. I take that back. I actually like the very end of this book. I'm saying, like, where her character ends up for the climax is not very satisfying. And Tom's is, for me, definitely not satsifying, but we'll get to that a little bit later on.
Yeah, there's strange characters to keep in here and then to have done with what they do with them.
Yes.
Except, again, I do like the very, very end, but yeah, it seems weird. Like, we could have just, I don't know.
Well, again, like, just like Tom dreams that he's Henry, Audra dreams that she's Bev back when they were kids. And this is when we first are introduced to its door, that creepy little 3-foot door. And yeah, there's a moment here that when she wakes up, and once again, I think it works. You know what? One might say it's effective. When you think that Pennywise is in the bathroom, but it turns out he just pops up on the
creepy.
TV. And then I've got some cemetery stuff here too.
Yeah,
but so you think she's going to get out, but guess who's there?
Good old Tom.
Tom Rogan in the house.
Tom Henry.
Tom in the house.
Tom out, and he goes, "Have I seen you in the movies?"
It's creepy.
Yeah, nice little chapter or nice little part in there. And
it's back to Eddie's room.
Back to Eddie's room where the gang is there, and that's when they decide, look, I feel like if we call the cops, we will somehow be found to be blamed, and this will keep going on, and we'll be screwed forever.
So they call the hospital, and because caller ID doesn't exist, they can just be like, well, tell us about Mike. And the police chief is like, no, who are you?
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think this might be Richie's funniest moment, though, is when they're all in the car and he turns on the radio, and it's Georgie on the radio blaming Bill for, his death and sending him out in the rain. And then it says, Richie snapped the radio off so hard the nub spun away and hit the floor mat. Rock and roll on the sticks really sucks, huh? I mean, I think the way that's like a natural, let's try to, lighten the mood here. I kind of chuckled at that. I did. Richie finally won me back. Maybe I'll go see a stand-up show if he was playing at the, like the Riv or something like that. Maybe I'll go out there.
He's got a great line later on towards the end that I've highlighted as well.
I think Eddie has the funniest line in this section, which I'm sure we will get to, and I'm very excited about it.
Maybe we have. I don't know if I've got it. I'm looking forward to hearing this one, or maybe I do. I just haven't hit that part yet. But yeah, so yeah, like you said,
we get there. They go back to the Barrens. They kind of muse about how everything is looking pretty much the same, if a little bit more overgrown. And things start coming together in a very technical, textual way. Like, we have Eddie saying, "I'm scared, Bill," again. Even though they're adults now, a lot of times we'll actually get copied and pasted bits of repeated text. Actually, I think we missed one of those when Henry has the switchblade. When he's going at Mike with it, we get the switchblade described as like the exact same paragraph that we get when he goes after Beverly with it in the past. And I just thought that was really well done. And he doesn't overdo it.
No, he definitely, I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you. But that's a good thing. I think it's just if you can kind of just make your allusions or make your references every now and then, you're not going to be constantly looking for it or expecting it.
Right. So they go down. They stood shin deep in the water and watched the others descend the ladder. And then we get really cool. I mean, I'm always a sucker for this. So chapter 21.
But then there's something else that happens right before the chapter, though, is they discover Audra's purse.
Oh, that's right. We know Audra's down there, and Bill's freaking out.
Yeah. And
freaking out. And then
here's the thing.
Chapter 21.
I want to say something. I want to say something right now.
What do you want to say, Justin?
Danny Boyle's Sunshine? Has everybody seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
No.
Well, a lot of people love the first 2/3, and then they think that the last third just goes like off the rails. This is too crazy. I love the last third of Sunshine because it goes nuts and it's unexpected. And I'm one of those people, if you want to take me there, I'll go with you. Let's see what's going to happen here. I love all of this stuff that we're about to talk about.
I'm a sucker for it.
It is so crazy, but it's crazy in a controlled way. I think it's handled really well. You follow it and it makes sense ultimately, especially if you've read it multiple times. Again, the turtle's mentioned throughout the book, from the
it feels
first
like he
chapter.
Had this in mind. This is a culmination. It's not like Lost, It's not like
It's like he ran out of ideas and was like, let's go travel to some other dimension where there's a giant, enormous godlike turtle talking to you and like making jokes and vomiting up the world. And I love it. I was thrilled.
I love it.
Yeah. So we get our first bit from its perspective in italics. So we have a new character, kind of, or at least a deepened character to add to the pantheon here.
Yeah, and again, a lot of times with villains, the less you know, the better. But this is such a huge character. Obviously, I have no problem learning a little bit more of the backstory of it right now, especially because it's all coming to an end. I don't know how other people feel.
So, like almost you can't really comprehend. It's written in a way that's just like it's so beyond our intelligence or even knowing that. It's being explained, but there's still so much we're probably not grasping or able to be illustrated here. It's just like even better.
It's, I think, an example of its efficacy that I thought the word deadlights was sprinkled throughout this entire book very liberally. But we really only get the deadlights in this last sliver.
Yeah, you're right.
But I was so scared of the deadlights as a child after reading this book, and I thought like it would rear its head almost immediately when I reopened the book. But no, you don't get introduced to them until here.
I also feel like it's interesting that they refer to the deadlights as alive too, like this contrast of like it's dead and it can like wipe you, like you're basically make you non-existent, and yet at the same time it's this living, almost breathing thing, which is kind of like how I feel when I think of it being described as like a character now of like having these very human emotions, which for me, like I touched on this like at the end of the last podcast where I was like, one of these questions I had is like, why are we getting these human like emotions now from it? Is it because he's been there he or she or it has been there for so long that it's like somehow we've bled into it, you know what I mean? As like it's bled into Derry, Derry's bled into it, and it's become interchangeable.
I think that's what it is, because I think that it was. They talk about when in '58 it was the first time in its existence it ever felt pain. And so I think, once you learn pain, I think that something does happen to you. Let me speak on behalf of these giant otherworldly creatures, if I may. I think naturally, of course, one entity that's been around since the beginning of time would naturally become more human. That's my take.
Well, and I love the fact that it is a very simple being in that way. Even though when it scares people, it gets so into the nitty gritty of what they're scared of, the voices that it does and the things that it says, it's so specific. But when you actually zoom out to what it feels, it's kind of just like this weird floating, simple, hungry thing. Like it's not really conscious of what it's doing in a way that is motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's a total reflection of whatever it is around. It really is just reflecting whatever people's fears are back at them.
Yeah. So with this chapter, it's kind of like all of a sudden we realize, oh, this is like a Lovecraftian thing, like this thing spiraling from space into existence on Earth, and these two things that are way out of our even existence or intelligence, floating, or the whole macroverse thing, and the turtle and these larger than life like beings kind of stumbling into our existence through this thing. I don't know. It does. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're totally in a different book.
Oh yeah,
it's like we've been in this book the whole time.
We didn't realize that we
just
were in
didn't
this
know
book.
it. Yeah,
exactly.
We got a hint of it in the smoke lodge where they have the
absolutely,
flashback to
absolutely.
But now
even then you're like, well, is it just an alien? Like,
right.
Yeah.
He didn't want to blow our minds, so this whole time, how many thousands of pages?
Almost 1,000 pages. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what you've been reading.
He couldn't show us the face of it because we would all lose our minds too quickly.
Hey, I buy that excuse. Whatever.
But it's true, because at this point, when this is introduced, I'm like with Justin, I'll believe anything. Like we've gone this far, nothing is beyond comprehension. So I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I totally buy this then. Yeah, because you need to deliver on some level. And I think the reason that this has never worked in the films or they didn't even try to do it is because it's just reason it works here, I think, is because it's so long,
and you get the
and you dive so far into this that you're willing to go that extra mile to make it pay off, you know. But in the movies, they're so short. It's to do this and to do it in a way that's believable. I don't think you can.
Well, Gary Doberman did say that he is going to do the Ritual of Chüd in the sequel. I don't know how you do it,
but I wonder.
He promised.
You know, it's like the only way they can do this would be to go the Interstellar route, where Matthew McConaughey is just speaking exposition for 25 minutes as to what's happening.
No, well, I don't think that.
I don't want that to happen.
I think that if they do it and now we're getting a little off track, but I think if they do it in the movie, that it's going to be very cerebral. It's not. It's going to be quick flashes and montages of the telepathy battle between him and it, not the spider necessarily, but like a weird distorted version of the clown. And then we might get a flash of like a turtle. We might get a flash. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like
just as a nod to the fans. Yeah.
My dream. Oh, you go.
No, I was gonna say I think they're gonna try to go like, I don't want artistic's probably not the right word I want to use, but like you were saying, the flashes and like if you see the turtle or that flying through space, like that's an easy concept. But like when they're talking about biting the tongue and everything like that, it being very like a mental image, like they know they're not truly like biting tongue, but like how do you perceive that? It would be like flashes and images of things that like you don't get a full.
Yeah,
so
that's
no. I agree.
It'd be like a lot of intense close-ups of like eyes, like as they clench.
And leaving it unexplained would work for it. I would hope.
Yeah.
I think kind of just doing these flashes with no context rewards the fans, and then also just gets into the whole unknowable theme anyway.
Well,
so
unfortunately,
I would hate it if they were like, well, and then you see him passing the turtle. We get the whole conversation. We see him going to some representation of the border between here and the Deadlights. Like it wouldn't work. No,
well, I did read on Reddit, I saw that there is a line at the end where Bill says it was the turtle. The turtle was its power.
Were you doing a Temple of Doom reference?
No, I'm doing a Crystal Skull
reference. Oh my God. Very good. Bringing back the
I agree. I hope it's very vague and obviously the fans will know it and they'll love it. And then the people that don't know it, they'll just hate it. This is a trippy ending,
and I don't care.
And maybe they'll like it. But I'll give Doberman credit if they really do try to do that. I will give credit where credit's due.
My dream is it all of a sudden becomes like it's a really fast paced horror movie for this century. But then all of a sudden there's like 25 minutes of Bill just hovering like by the turtle. And it's just this really avant-garde, shoot. It becomes like a widescreen movie.
The head coming out of the shell slowly.
All I can picture is like the blackness of Under the Skin.
Yeah,
but just like Bill, and then like this giant turtle, and then all of a sudden like
it's on IMAX,
and then he's just like flying really quickly towards the Deadlights or something. I don't know. It's just like nuts.
Good to see
That's
you.
how I was imagining it. So that's how I do it.
Gary Doberman, you've been challenged. 25 minutes. I want that to be a quarter of the movie is him talking to the turtle. Really piss people off. Where's the clown? Anyway, sorry. Let's get back. I want the clown.
Really quickly,
Where's he so cute? Where's Bill?
Who would play the turtle?
I've got
Sam Elliott.
Oh man, if Sam Elliott played the turtle. Let's go. That'd be freaking amazing. Now listen here, Bill.
Let's just get the actor that played Mike Hanlon in the miniseries.
Oh.
Tim Reed.
He's got such a great voice.
Great voice.
Yeah.
Tim Reed, come back. Anyway.
Our challenge issued.
Gary Doberman.
James Earl Jones, but
Oh, that could also be good though. I don't know. Or like Morgan Freeman or somebody who narrates really well.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan Freeman would just be like another perfect King nod, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, the
that is very true.
Just have it be him and Andy talking.
Or Clancy Brown. Let's just bring Clancy back.
Brown. His voice work is so good.
It is. He's been doing
I never
it for a while.
joke about Clancy.
Gargoyles and everything. Anyway,
we're in the sewers.
We're much like the Mandarin section. We're like, whoa, where are we?
But it's true. This is where the book starts to go crazy.
Yeah. And absolutely.
I guess we've all established that we like that.
Yes.
Maybe you don't, but this is where it starts to go crazy.
It's understandably polarizing, but I do enjoy the hell out of this part.
Yeah.
So we go back in the past and they discover Patrick's body, and
we get a little breakdown from Stan. We get a little bit of he's the one to start kind of like breakdown crying. I feel like he's trying to seed these little bits of like Stan's weakness throughout these sections. to pretty good effect. And yeah, we see Patrick's body.
And then we're back in the present again. Oh, we're back in the present for the first time with its background.
And we get these. We keep getting mentions of capital A another, something that's not the turtle, but that is more powerful than both it and the turtle. Mac will probably have something to say about this later.
Mac's like, I don't know. I think it has something to do with the deadlights in some way, though. It's something else, or some other greater presence to kind of explain a little bit.
It's the tower, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be
like
Gan.
the. Yes. It's supposed to be like the end all be all.
Wait. Let me just. So the tower is supposed to be the another in this context, or is the deadlights area where the border is that supposed to be the tower?
I think the deadlights is on the border, and then the beyond is not officially explained, but it feels like reading Future King that it's the Dark Tower. But again, that's just
like overarching God, Gan tower,
reality,
but guiding force.
I think that is personally why I love this whole ending, because I am a big tower head, and I think that this is just, it doubles down on that, and it's like, well, even if you're not, and at this point we don't even have drawing of the 3 yet.
No,
so like this is really laying the groundwork for that kind of universe, and I love it.
A Macroverse for that matter.
Oh, the Mac reverse.
Oh, God. Well,
okay, so we get Audra and Tom from its perspective.
I like how he describes Henry and Tom as dogs' bodies.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Just like
I like that term.
Just
made up.
I feel like that's just what's the best way to explain it? Just because you think about a dog can be vicious, I guess, but in this context, the two of them are so useless. They're just entities, and they're just dogs' bodies. I feel like it's a negative.
Yeah, it's an actual word. It's a person who is given boring, menial tasks to do. I didn't know that.
I thought it was another one of the words he made up.
Oh, I thought he made it too. Yeah. Well, there we go.
I looked up a few words, and they're like, "Hey, surprise! It's a word that King made up."
It's like you type in it just says, "Would you like to know more about Stephen King?"
Yeah, exactly. You're on the King wiki already.
So here, one thing I like. There's two things about this section. One I like a lot, and one I don't. Is we learn about that little aside about why Mike is so afraid of birds. Yes. It's that little memory that he wouldn't remember, obviously, as a kid growing up, but as a little baby who's being pecked by. Yeah. And of course, the bird to him would look giant. Yeah. Which I thought was a nice little. Oh, by the way, here's my Mike's right there. But
like wrapping everything up so nicely.
Then we learn that Tom died. He's dead. Immediately. Like,
just looking at it.
Couldn't look at it and just like, yeah.
I mean, I guess
sort of makes sense. Like his mind is too weak. Like, of course, it snaps, but it is a little unsatisfying.
I thought he was going to use like Tom to like mess with him, and I was expecting a fight scene of some so weird, vicious battle. I don't know. I was
100%. I could have. My thing was, I feel like they should have just had Henry kidnap Audra or something and take her down to the sewers. Like, I feel like at this point, why do you even have Tom?
Well, that's
this entire
the thing.
time.
It's missing
just to get her down there.
Does she even need to get down? I don't know.
It's missing a little sequence where he's dragging. I don't know why they're already down there. Well, I guess they're following. No, they're down there before Bev or any of it shows up.
It calls Tom to him.
But it would have been cool to actually see this sequence, like him dragging her down there, and then it coming. We see him see it, and he's just too weak and just totally dies. And then instead of just it saying, "Oh yeah, this happened a few minutes ago."
By the way,
wait, what?
But we do find out here that it is female.
Yeah, big reveal.
Yeah,
huge.
I'm not
reveal.
kidding. I've read this book multiple times, and for some reason, that never.
You never remember that?
I never remember that. It's like I feel like the kids. Like I forget after every 15 years, and then it comes back.
And when did Aliens come out, Justin?
Aliens was this year, actually, 86. The year's book came out.
Because so much of this ending,
86, the year the book came out.
So much of this ending,
this year.
Yeah, so much of this ending reminds me of that, and vice versa. It's like the queen,
and the crush of the
battle.
Eggs.
They crush the eggs.
You killed
the
my
queen
brother.
Is upset. And then, I'm not kidding.
True.
And then, like
Bishop the android shows up.
Richie's line. He says, "Hey, bitch, you're never too old to rock and roll."
Rock. I love it.
Love that line.
I love that as soon as they find out it's a female, like they switch to female pejorative.
As opposed to like fuck her, it's like no, you bitch, or yeah.
Yeah,
They're consistent, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so oh dear, Audra comes to realize, oh dear Jesus is female, and then we're back with.
Then we start doing like the cross reference what's going on in the town now. Like as they start to battle, it is like what's happening in Derry at that moment.
Yes, that's just about to happen. But first, I think they encounter the crawling eye.
Oh yeah,
as kids.
God, I love the crawling eye.
Great image.
It in the fight scene.
I guess because I still get creeped out when I put myself back in the mindset of kids from the 50s and 60s and these cheapo horror movies. And I can only imagine.
Because like to me, it's kind of like funny. Like I'm thinking about this eye rolling, and maybe if this was really happening to me, I wouldn't think it was funny.
I would laugh at it.
But like I think it's like this cheesy, goofy like horror, and then I'm like, but back in that time, like I'm a child raised on horror films and things like that, so we've seen like these intensely masterful and like terribly cheesy and horribly made movies, but like we have all these special effects and things to kind of help. Whereas back then, like. It was simple fears, and so I'm like I have to like try to force myself to think in that.
Well, have you ever seen like I imagine it being like the Blob, but an eye, like if you touch it just
side
tears
is part
you.
of this sequence, like just how if horror is unsuccessful, it becomes comedy, and vice versa. This is the line I was talking about from Eddie. Like I love when Eddie sprays his aspirator on it and says, battery acid fuck nuts. It works. And then
put that on my tombstone.
And then he's like, fight it, Jesus Christ, you fucking pussies, I'm doing the mashed potatoes all over it and I got a broken arm.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Eddie stands up here.
It's just a fucking eye. It's an eye.
It's an awesome scene here. And
Eddie
but that's
really
also a
comes
callback
into his own
to
here.
something I mentioned earlier after the Mr. Keen section where he finds out that the aspirator doesn't actually have any medicine, but there's some line that Eddie says where he says it only matters if you believe it actually does work. And I love that was kind of called back here where he's able to use it to his advantage. Once again, kind of like having that Perrier bottle in the present and the past, he was able to use the aspirator and convince the enemy that it was real. And it saves them here. A lot of deep thoughts here on Eddie and the crawling eye.
I want to just a brief tangent about that. Like, as long as you believe it's real, like, I feel like that message gets a little confused or muddled at different points. Like, it seems like belief is what gets them out of a mess because, again, like Eddie can believe in his aspirator. Yeah. But there are other moments where it's like, if you don't believe what it is doing, then you have some power. I'm thinking of the moment in Neibolt Street where Bill jumps up and hits the ceiling and shows Stan that it's not actually getting taller. The ceiling is still right here. There's still plaster. But that is like totally disproved by other kids that die in the book. Like the kid who's always looking for the zipper on the Gill Man, who's saying it's not real, I don't believe it. But it kills him anyway.
I wonder if the message there is ultimately... Which I think the ultimate message of the book is, you need your friends because all those people are also by themselves and they have never talked to anybody else about it. Whereas I feel like these kids have kind of built up the it mythology and they have kind of started to figure out what works and what doesn't. And I think if you're also around your friends, you're stronger. I think maybe that's the other thing.
That makes sense. I like that.
Or even just like the Gillman thing, like that is directly it. It's not like the ground was different and he thought it was like sand and not like grass. I mean? It's like he's touching this thing that doesn't really exist.
And he probably deep down thinks it does exist. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
It's like the old thing with vampires. Like you have to believe in the cross for it to really work on a vampire.
And
you have to have faith.
Don't really believe. Yeah.
You have to have faith.
Faith and power was something that they've been talking about. Like, I feel like it's dropped off with him using the term faith now and now turning into belief. Because was it the Derry? No, it was last in 1958. He used that like context or that comparison a lot of faith and power, and then like suddenly it's like belief is power. But then do we have belief as an adult? Like what happens to our forms of belief, or what do we believe in as adults as opposed to kids?
And the thing is, the adults would never have come back. I don't believe unless it really wanted him to come back. And he even says that in the present when we get inside his own thoughts is that he wanted to actually have revenge on them. And he thought that he could actually defeat them because they were adults and that they lacked that imagination that you need to have as a kid. But obviously, guess what? Backfires. You blew it. So it also says you shouldn't want revenge on people. I think it's another positive
Moral
message.
of the story.
And then next they stumble across the mark of it on the door.
No, first they have the bird again. The bird attacks
Oh yeah,
them.
and Stan does have a little moment here too. I like Stan, who's obviously been cowardice is not the right word, because I would also be very afraid of this freaking creature. But he's been a little more hesitant than the other ones to deal with it.
Yeah, he's a little more fragile.
Yeah, but he really does stand up, and once again he saves the day by spouting off that bird knowledge, and even the birds he's never seen but claims to believe exist either way. Right. So he's actually, that's what you're saying too, Melly. He's actually using that belief there that something does exist in order to vanquish it, which is interesting. There's a lot of explorations here.
I like the kind of like hint you get before they go under too from Bill, because he asks like, do you have your bird book? So you're like, Stan the man's gonna step up at one point. You're just like, so how is it? Because I, of course, since I haven't read this, I wasn't expecting the bird scene to come into play there. But it's like Stan's character is so complex, and these kids are so complex, and yet there's a point where it's talking about how it prefers children because their fears are simple and easy to understand. But it's like, is it though? There's superficial fears, yes, that kids have that are easy to understand, but like the imagination that they have, that they're capable of, I feel like adds so much more to it that he wasn't aware of, or like, because they were more attuned to that part of themselves, it made them more special than other kids maybe, or like.
I think so. I agree. I do. I think that there's something unique about, and they kept mentioning like the power of the 7 of them together and how they always cast this weird light, especially near the end of the book. There was just something about these kids that set them apart.
Yeah, and it seems to be going after kind of like outcasts or people, or these kids that are lonely or don't maybe have friends. They're kids in a school age where you don't necessarily have like a group of friends yet. You're still figuring that out. So everyone is kind of alone. And if you are, too alone, it's going to come get you.
The creature's going to rip your head off, man.
Or arms.
Frankenstein's monster is going to rip your head off if you don't have friends.
Gross. Truth.
Or just Frankenstein, as they yell out.
Yeah, it's Frankenstein.
It's the doctor.
I want to say it's the monster. It's the doctor. What if it really was just Dr. Frankenstein?
She's like, hey,
it's the monster. I do like how they when they get to its door and they all see different things.
Yes, I love this mark.
This line gets repeated over and over throughout the book about the Billy Goat's gruff.
Yes.
I think you talked about that in the first episode, right? How King kind of got the idea about there being a troll under a bridge and the goats. Yeah,
it's the exact line. The children lean forward, all the old fascination glistening in their eyes. Will the monster be bested or will it feed? That's in here like 6 times throughout the book.
Yeah, and they had come to the place of it, and this mark is so, I don't know, just something about it. And
what do you see when you see that mark?
Yeah.
What do I see?
Yeah.
I see a dead turtle.
I see Japanese lettering.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I wish I
it's
could
like
remember.
a pseudo Asian copy of, I don't know what he's trying to do there, but
I feel like it's like some sort of kanji or something, but then I'm like, my Japanese is so bad, I don't remember anything, so.
I think we can't comprehend what it is. I think
maybe it's a coffee stain that he had one day, and he's like, "Yes,
this is the mark."
Yeah, he accidentally like messed up. He dragged the pen down all of a sudden. Yeah, oh jeez.
I want to talk about what they see. Like, because Stan sees a phoenix, with the bird, obviously. Mike sees a hooded face. That also checks out. Bev sees a fist. Eddie, a leper. Ben, a mummy. Bill, a paper goat. Paper goat. Henry, a moon. But yeah, Richie sees 2 eyes behind spectacles. Like, he's just that, almost just the embarrassment of kind of being a nerd, I guess, wearing glasses, as I could probably relate to as a child. But
also, what I kind of see in this symbol is like a 7 with a dash through it.
Oh,
like the lucky
the Losers
7.
Club.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's afraid of.
I think you're right. I think that's what it sees.
Well, I couldn't get in touch with Steven, so
yeah.
That's absolutely what it is, and he's free to correct us. But you can go ahead and spread it, put that on your Reddit and Wikipedia entries. Okay, now Aisha, what you're talking about with old timers?
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Now we're starting to we really cut back and forth between the old timer. I think for the first time since the Kitchener Ironworks explosion, a clock does not go off at the time it's supposed to go off.
And everyone's like freaking out.
Yeah, they don't know why they're freaking out. Yeah.
I will say I did not like these. I mean, I like what they're showing, but they really do make me mad when I get to them because I'm like, okay, I don't care about like you can tell me a little bit slower or a little bit quicker like what's going on in the town.
If you
but
cut
as it is, these really slow down the pacing. They're just like
If you had each section of these cut down by half, and then you also remove every other section of these, I think it's fine to kind of show what's happening. It's literally the town is falling apart. We get it, but I don't think we needed to have all of this going on ad nauseum.
Page, and there was like a whole block, and I was like, nope. Turn
it was
to
like,
next page.
There goes the Aladdin Theater, and there goes the standpipe, and there goes this and that.
Well, that's why the only other thing I did, I liked Dave Gardner's like discovery, but I felt like this is a little too much. I was like, okay, let's get back to what's actually happening. It's like I didn't care about Derry at that point. Like it's going down. Period.
Yeah. We got two other major climaxes going on. I don't care if if there's a flood about to happen. We get it. I mean, a lot of this could have just been explained also in the last interlude or something, like what happened to the town, and that's fine if you want to talk about it. Then
touch on it then again. So
I don't know. Anyway, but I think this is a little.
It seems like it was proof that like King put a lot of thought into this town, and now he has to destroy it.
World building. Remember these landmarks? Yeah.
Then Bill sees Georgie.
Yeah.
And Georgie again blames him for his death,
which is always the cruelest. I think of all the tauntings that the kids get, obviously, is having Georgie used against him, and
obviously and this
Georgie
is when they're kids. Sorry, it's getting really confusing, but this is back when they're kids. They come across Georgie, and Bev says, "Only you can kill this one, or only you can face this one."
And then, of course, we go back to the Derry falling apart.
First Bill says the phrase. He says he thrusts his fist against the post.
Still
insists he sees the ghosts, which is another thing that I thought was, again, sprinkled liberally throughout the entire book, but is not. It's very late in the game.
So we go back to Mike in the present waking up, and he discovers that it is trying to use who happens to actually be a brother of one of its victims from years earlier.
Yeah, Cheryl Law's brother Mark.
Yeah, approaching with a syringe. And here's the part. Lucius senses something's wrong. Everybody bands together and sends Mike their power. And Mike is able to stop him.
This would be a misery if I could have like a very isolated moment, but I hate how every time they come together and do something with their power, every time it focuses on each of them, when it focuses on Beverly, it's always like it was like she was fucking or having an orgasm.
Oh,
she was
like
in
sexual.
Ecstasy. It's
everybody else just like
her.
hanging out,
Yeah.
Everybody else just hanging out.
Yeah.
But and then
once you have an orgy, everything is sexual.
They might as well have an orgy, at this point. So they save Mike. Couldn't they just had Mike be strong enough to ward him off or something like that? They didn't have to have this moment of Care Bear stare or whatever the hell it's called.
The thing that bothered me about this, maybe it's because they're not all together.
Yes.
I think it's because they're not all together, but earlier on, when he's in the hospital, or not the hospital, when he's at the library being attacked, maybe they each sensed something, but because they weren't together, they didn't feel that it was Mike.
Exactly.
But here, I think everything's heightened now because they're there. Yeah, this is definitely a misery for me. Just the idea, this power thing. I think that you could have easily just had Mike fend this person off on his own. Like he is still strong, and then he can be like, if I'm still dealing with this, they must be dealing with worse. I'm gonna
I agree.
Concentrate and try to send my positive vibes to them.
It's a minor.
Thoughts and prayers to those
thoughts.
Wake up.
My thoughts and prayers to the group and the parents.
I mean, it's a minor misery because it's not like it's some deal breaker, but
I guess we just talked about a giant macroverse turtle, so I give him a pass on the power.
It was just a demonstration of even though they're separate, they can still access each other.
Stronger together, anybody? Stronger together. Back to the present, still.
Back to the present, and they confront. This is the first time we see the word spider. This is the first time we get to see the form that it kind of is trapped in our world. It is,
but something important here too, Mel, is that Bill says, no, not a spider either, not really.
Right.
But this shape isn't one it picked out of our minds. It's just the closest our minds can come to the Deadlights, whatever it really is. I like that because
it's always hard to read Stephen King out loud with his parenthetical.
I know. It's like you go back and say, oh, by the way, they talk about Deadlights briefly.
You need someone to be whispering over your shoulder.
This is the part where the miniseries fails because once again, it's so hard to talk about what really is as opposed to what we're seeing. So if you're just seeing a giant spider in the miniseries, that's not exactly what they're supposed to be looking at in the book. But
that's why I feel like if they do this again, I would almost want it to be like you never really can see it. Like it's out of focus the whole time. Yeah. You see it's something in the shape of a spider maybe, but that it's you're always seeing from the other people's perspectives, and just, it's always in the periphery, or you can't really see it. But it's like, because what's more frightening is what you can't see or what's in the shadows. Yep. You know, we don't need to see it. You don't need to take the mask off. You know, I'm more, and that's why I think that they'll probably lean more on just kind of a really distorted, scary version of the clown.
And you know what? I would be fine with that.
They're already doing that. We didn't.
Right.
There was a point briefly in the current adaptation where he grows kind of insectile legs, but that's really it.
And I would rather it be a half spider, half clown thing, because that is more visually frightening to me.
I'll settle for a half.
Yeah, I really would, because, you know, I mean, people are going to be expecting it either way. I think it's tough for a movie-going audience. It would be like saying we're going to have a climax of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but Freddy's not going to be there. It's going to be another version of Freddy. Like, people are going to want to see the clown. You got to please the movie-going audience.
And it's like, this is obviously Shelob from Lord of the Rings. This is his... No, it is. I mean, this is his, like, you know, that side story. And this is that villain for sure.
Yeah.
But again, not everybody's afraid of spiders, so you can't do that really.
Also,
and have it be effective.
At the door this time, they see something different, though. Bev sees Tom in that symbol. Bill sees Audra. Eddie sees Poison, Richie sees Paul Bunyan, and Ben sees Henry. So the times they are changing.
But it's like, is what's funny to me, is like what they see and like what that represents. Because like for Bill, Audra is that like something scary, whereas Henry is something scary, terrifying that the others had to deal with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's some of them saw their fears, or are we just seeing like what's important, like what's in our mind at that moment?
I wonder if it's just the fear in terms of, is Audra okay? Like that he's more afraid of that question than anything else.
It's her severed head.
Yeah. It's more specific. Yeah, you're right. It's a severed head. So that explains that. I guess I didn't write that part down.
We get this is, I totally forgot about this. The explanation for why Stan knew more than they did, or what he knew, was that it is pregnant.
And goes
somehow
back.
Stan knew that. We don't actually get that moment of comprehension, though, do we? Like, we don't see Stan realize that, or we don't see him realize something the others don't. But for some reason, it's understood that he knew that it was pregnant.
Yeah, because they don't even... I figured that maybe when they got out, because we do finally see them, doing the pact at the end. I figured at that point he might have said something.
Or like the worried look that he and Bev had when they left at the last minute when Bill was trying to go back to say maybe that is the point that like he figured it out, or might have had an inkling, is my only guess. Because I was kind of like, how did Stan figure this out, and why did he tell no one?
I don't know, but I will say... this is, well, save for misery, but this whole thing with it having eggs is totally pointless. Like, this doesn't need to be here. I don't believe.
Well, they're laying eggs for the possibility of a sequel.
Well, but what are you going to do with multiple weird evil entities? I don't know. Why now?
Like, why
sounds
does it
great.
does it take this long gestation period? Like, why is it having
billions of years?
Like,
I don't know.
Well,
it was just to give. I think it was to give Ben something to do at the end of the book.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't mind it. I think that is like
I think cool.
That was a great way to explain Stan's suicide. I wish they had delved into that a little more. Just knowing that he, like, the sheer hopelessness and futility, because it's actually pregnant with like hundreds of babies.
I guess I just didn't understand why it had babies. Like, I get Stan's fear, but I just don't understand, like, because in my head I'm thinking, okay, this is this like ultimate evil, or that's existed for forever. If it's eternal but not eternal, or however you want to put it, like, why does it have the need to have kids? Does the turtle have kids out there?
Well, that's the thing.
Little turtles.
Little turtle universes.
I think
micro universes.
Well, so I think that it showed, because Stan was so weak, I think it maybe even showed him this fact, knowing that he would take his own life, because it was just too much. Like, he knew what was coming.
But I feel like for me, Stan, just the fact that maybe Stan didn't have the strength and the courage as an adult to go back, and was so afraid of the idea of it. I bought that enough. I didn't need to have this added. Oh, it was actually because it was pregnant. Like,
it's also possibly maybe Bev and maybe the group's just, maybe they're just trying to make sense of why Stan maybe did it. They still don't know why exactly he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe that's why. But I
You
do
know
like
what
the
Mike
fact
would say about if it's implied, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real, yeah.
And I do like the egg thing. I kind of feel like it couldn't do this. It couldn't have spawn. It couldn't lay eggs. It couldn't continue and kind of go out and spread its disease, I guess, until the turtle was gone. And so now the turtle is dead. It's able to kind of do the wild thing.
But why risk bringing the people back if it's fine?
Yeah.
Okay, and why risk the fact
Why
that they're going to
not
have a big encounter? Why
Yeah.
just anyway? I don't
Well,
know.
he's
I'm
not
on board.
revenge.
I don't think he's trying to bring me. I don't think he didn't. I mean, it doesn't know that Mike's going to bring everybody back. You know what I mean?
No, he
Like,
does. He sets up all those photos,
for
everything
them to
else. He
come.
wants them to come back this time to have his revenge.
Well, he's an idiot. What do you, or she? Sorry.
She is an
She
idiot.
is a
She is an idiot.
Yeah. Wow, that gets me on a whole other level. The turtle being male, and I just also.
Well, maybe that's can male turtles lay eggs?
I don't know if
I'm gonna
Then,
say
then that's why the
no.
turtle doesn't have
no.
babies out there.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Because once the turtle, well, am I spoiling this if I say? Because I feel like we've said this several times about the turtle and its current state of being. But
Yeah, go for it.
if the turtle is no longer with us, how are there any more universes being created? You know what I mean?
Well, that because the turtle isn't the end all be all. The turtle is just one
part of it.
part of the old beam.
The flip side of the coin.
And why is the turtle? See, this is why I got distracted too while I was reading this, because spider and turtle, I'm like, are these archaic, like long-standing, like things in the universe? Like, why are these like ancient?
I kind of see it as King pulling from like the Chinese calendar, like where it's like the year of the rat, year of the hog, year of the all that kind of stuff. I think that's just kind of like that's what his wheel is. It's kind of like they were onto something there. But this is what it really is beyond even like our comprehension.
And in future Dark Tower books, there's a lot more discussion about what the turtle represents and these other.
Well, the
beings.
turtle's opposite isn't even the spider; it's the bear.
That's right, Shardik.
Yeah.
What? My brain is just exploding. every
Yeah,
day.
I feel like I saw the deadlights over here.
Yeah.
Well, and like whether the turtle, I mean not the turtle, whether it is even on the level of, it's not even on the level of what the turtle is. It just happens to come through
Like an
from somewhere
extra-dimensional
else,
gross being.
and but is aware of the turtle's existence and of that kind of realm because it is ancient evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It is confusing.
Like, what came first, the turtle or the spider?
Chicken or the egg, turtle or spider. All right, so it's go time.
It's chewed time.
It is chewed
Time
time.
to chew down.
Oh man, here we go. The ritual of the chewed.
I did. There is a spiritual system that I looked up just because I wondered if he actually got chewed from anything. And there is, don't laugh, a spiritual practice of Tibetan Buddhism called Chöd. It's CHO with an umlaut D, and it literally means cutting through, and it cuts through like your ego or egocentrism, cutting through the ego. I don't know, maybe.
That's possible. Cutting Through is also one of my favorite REM songs from Murmur.
I think that's a more likely explanation.
Yeah, I wish that was the case, but it's not. So yeah, Bill enters the blackness, and the blackness was everything. The blackness was the cosmos and the universe, and the floor of the blackness was hard. It was like polished ebonite, and he was skidding along in his chest and belly and thighs like a weight on the shuffleboard. He was on the ballroom floor of eternity, and eternity was black. But the ballroom thing is interesting because that's kind of like what Richie and Mike feel like they're in like a big ballroom in the smoke hole.
Right.
I thought that was an interesting callback.
We also didn't discuss like when they're underground, they go into like a cathedral like space.
Yeah, with weird, like the floors are weird too. It's not just like a dirt floor at that point too.
I was gonna say, even just like the fact that he commented on specifically on the size of like the ground stones were larger than them. Like, how big is the space that's underneath? And like Eddie references at one point that they're no longer even in sewer tunnels, that they're in like a mine shaft almost because they're so far deep. And it's like, how was this place created, or what was it created for? It like in the beginning, and that he was able to use the space, or she, excuse me, that
Please
it
get
was
it right.
able to use the space and find the space. Like, where did it?
Well, and if it's a mine shaft and these things, one thinks maybe like, how old is this thing? Like, was it discovered in the ground?
I think that is where
Did
it landed, and
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
that's just been there
tunneled
forever.
its way out, or
It put
figured
in
its way.
its own stonework for like the space.
Yeah, I think I think that's why he goes after Ben so much, because they're both architects.
You think you could build a door? Check out this 3-foot door.
Here's a line right after this that I don't think will be in the movie. I'm the turtle, son. I made the universe, but please don't blame me for it. I had a bellyache.
Love it. That's so weird. I'm
bizarre.
I'm in. My favorite thing.
I'm in. I'm all in.
I'm out on, bones going the wrong way, but I'm all in on turtle encounters, the talking giant turtles. I also love how Bill in the past, again, he's here. He's like floating amongst this giant pseudo dead turtle, and he's talking to it, just craziness, and he's asking him for help, and the turtle says,
I guess he's not dead. This is young Bill, right? So the turtle
I'm
is
saying,
alive.
but he's not in good shape. He thinks he's dead.
Yes.
And he says,
doesn't want to come out of his shell.
yeah,
right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style.
So he's a little scared. He's like Eddie.
He says, I take no stand in these
little
matters. Has his own place in the microverse. Energy is eternal, as even a child such as yourself must understand. That was my Sam Elliott. Yeah. But my favorite bit here, which this is like sunshine. You're either all in or you're all out here, is when he says, son, you've got to thrust your fist against the post and still insist you see the ghost. That's all I can tell you. Once you get into cosmological shit like this, you gotta throw away the instruction manual. Like, what the fuck? This giant space turtle talking.
Is he tripping out?
Oh my god!
All I can see is this turtle kind of like looking around, and it's all like hearing this voice in your head.
Yeah,
and it's just and look. I'm an adult, and if I saw this, I would not be able to wrap my head around this. I would not be coherently thinking of how I can fight it. I would just be. My mind would be obliterated.
So
these are some strong. Yes,
I'd be like, yeah, we're good.
I'm sorry, I don't want to say I'm like Tom Rogan, but I would be like Tom Rogan. Seeing the turtle, I'd be like,
part of me would be like, can I like go inside the turtle shell? I'd be distracted on the way to the deadlights.
Oh yeah.
Well, the turtle says he can't help, but then he like definitely helps.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, like a time traveler can't go back in time to change the future, but they'll still probably go back and change the future a little bit. It's like here. He's just because he's saying he can't do anything doesn't mean he's not going to do anything.
He literally tells him what to do. He says you have to say the phrase basically.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta stay out, but here's $10. You go ahead and do something here. But this is also important. This is what we were talking about earlier. It's so hard to capture this in film form, is that, Bill uses his mind's eye and philosophically or psychologically bites down on its tongue here. Right? And this is the moment. So not with his teeth, but with teeth in his mind. That's what the quote is.
So what I thought was the whole ritual of Chüd, it's weird because the whole idea of their understanding of it is like biting into each other's tongues, and then the whole angle about telling the jokes and things. I feel like all he does is do he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Then it's not until, when we're getting ahead of myself, but not until Richie fights it.
And
he does do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, Richie comes in there at the last minute. But okay, yeah. So what's
so Bill is able to come out of it again. He's able to get back into his physical self, and
he thinks it's dying.
He thinks it's dying, but some people aren't. Some people are convinced it's dying, but some people are not so sure. I think maybe Bev is one of the people that isn't convinced, right?
Bev and Stan and Bill to some extent.
Yeah,
they say they have to make sure, but the webs are all coming down.
Yeah. Which I feel like if they had continued to go after them, maybe that would have been the point where Richie comes in as kids.
Yes.
With the jokes with the Ritual of Chüd. But yeah, it's what the webs are like, these stinging acid-like whatever things falling.
Which is very, very much like The Mist.
The Mist, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Great movie.
And then we flash forward to the second time, Bill in the void, late.
Late. It just says, it's late. Go to sleep, everybody.
And I found this is such a like creepy, suspenseful section where he's like, oh, you're back, and look, you're bald, and you can't do it again because you're not a kid anymore.
And he tells him the turtle's dead and everything else.
The turtle's dead, and he misses. Bill tries to bite down on the tongue and misses his grip. This is such a funny Like you would never see this in fiction today, just the actual like ... italics.
Oh,
and
yeah.
missed his grip.
And missed his grip.
If I did that in workshop here, I would be thrown out of school.
Just thanks for playing. Goodbye. But also here, we were joking earlier about how Bill is kind of your Ben Mears or Stu Redman, like the perfect protagonist, and it's hard to imagine Ben or Stu missing anything like this, but to have Bill actually screw up in the climax is satisfying.
Perfect.
It's unexpected.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's unexpected. And I thought, if anything, that Ben would be the one that steps in here or something like that. He would be the runner-up, but the fact that it's actually Richie was also surprising.
I had that note in the book. So in the miniseries and even in the movie so far, there's a lot more focus and attention given to Ben than there is in the book. I don't feel like he's as strong a character in the book as he is in
I think there's a lot more attention
miniseries.
given to him as a kid in the book as opposed to him being an adult.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I do think King just found his core group, right? And it was like Bev, Bill, Ben, and Richie. We haven't touched on the fact that like putting Mike in the hospital in the future is actually an apt parallel, because in the past Mike is barely present in these sewers. He is not doing anything.
That's so
Sometimes he'll
strange.
say a word and you can just tell it's because King remembered he's supposed to be
Like
there.
the bird
Mike's here.
scene, he like pushes someone out the way, but other than that, he's kind of like useless. And he's
Right,
like-
because
and-
Stan is the one that comes in and saves the day there.
And
It's
even when
weird.
they're walking, there's a point where he makes a point to say that like Mike stands alone because they're walking side by side, and then it's like 2, and then Mike.
But I think,
I guess 'cause he was
but
the last or something.
I also feel like that's kind of obviously a little foreshadowing. Like Mike is going to not be with the group in the future. He's going to stay behind.
Yeah,
He's
I think
he should have done more with him as a kid.
Oh, I agree.
He's barely
wholeheartedly.
present.
I,
are you talking about for the climax as a kid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just not here.
Because he's given a lot of page time as a kid, especially in that third section, I think, or maybe it's the fourth section. So, but yeah, the same problem I had with Mike not being very present in the past is not having Ben feel that present in the present. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because the climax, I feel like Ben just he's there to smush the eggs. That's all I remember him doing in the climax. You know?
Yeah, he just is sitting there kind of watching everybody the whole time. You don't really get a lot of engagement with him, except for that story he tells like early on at the
Or
reunion.
he like moves at one point just because Bev screams to save Bill, and he's like, "I'm going to do it because Bev screamed." It's like you don't have your own mind to do it because Bill's your friend.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
We gotta impress Bev.
Even at these moments.
Even it's like, why are you already trying to protect your friend?
So are we?
So we got Richie
we're-
participating, and
and this is young Richie.
no, this is old Richie.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
getting
President
lost
Richie.
here. It's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, he's going to save Bill, so he bites down on the metaphysical tongue. His racist voices apparently hurt it a little bit.
He's like, wow, this guy's even worse than I am. And people, a lot of this is jokes, folks. We know this was written at a certain time about a certain period of time, but it's just funny to imagine Richie defeating this evil entity by doing an Irish cop voice. It's just amusing.
And
to
then he
us,
does a
right?
Hispanic voice, or I should just say Mexican. He's
the-
very Mexican, and then
Oh yeah,
a few others.
and it's like I can't stand this anymore.
Hey.
I just
gotta
kind
go.
of skim now, unless it's like an important sentence.
And then of course Eddie once again tries to do a little repeat that he did with the crawling eye.
They're not getting back safely.
No, they're not. They're both
he's
still
saying,
lost.
I'm losing it. Help. So Eddie tries to help.
And he does ultimately, but unfortunately, his arm gets a little too close, and
His good arm.
his good arm. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I know.
Broken arm, and then gets an arm
Not
bitten
supposed to have
off.
arms,
And
apparently.
is this the eye that takes his arm off?
No, it's the spider.
Spider.
No, he sticks
Oh,
his
that's right.
arm
I'm thinking
down its
young
throat
Eddie
and triggers
still.
his aspirator.
Yeah.
I would not have stuck my arm down a spider's throat. Maybe in the eyes again.
I think the poor guy got too close, and that was it.
It's so sad, this last line here, that Eddie closed his eyes thinking how to finish, and while he was still thinking it over, he died.
Because he wanted to make a little comeback to Richie.
His death is, he achieves this sort of like pleasurable clarity.
Yeah,
that it seems.
I've got that in the word processor section too.
Yeah.
I think that King does a great job, especially in I think it's part 4, that whole section of him finding out about the aspirator, and then encountering Henry, and then finally standing up to himself against his mom, and that sets all of this up in the climax really beautifully, I think.
But guess what, guys? I know you guys missed it. we're back to the town. We're back to
Oh,
Derry.
we're back to Derry.
I did think it was
apart.
weird that Mr. Nell, the actual Irish cop, is like possessed by Richie and then dies. Like,
Oh gosh.
that's how he dies. He like does his own stereotypical voice that Richie is doing, and then like
Boom.
dies in front of his wife. Like his voice was so good, it killed the thing it was
killed
mocking.
It's like, at what cost, Irish cop? You know,
There can't be two Irish cops in this world.
no way. That was confusing to it
not
and
Derry.
everybody else, and Derry itself. So then we go back to the past again,
All right, it is time.
and
Ooh.
well, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Had to take a drink of water for this.
They, Bill. Let's do a little table setting though. Bill is, as they think they've defeated it, they are leaving, and Bill says that they already feel like they're falling away from each other, and that the bond that had held them all this long summer was dissolving. So again, to your point, I feel like maybe by the time Bev got back home, the recent
just no
events are
memory.
gone. Yeah. That checks out to me. That makes
is
sense.
So and then they're lost.
Yes.
And then Bev says,
I know.
"I have an idea," and I say, "Oh."
That was a terrible idea.
All right, all right.
All right. Well, hold on.
Time to talk about it.
It's all. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
It cuts away.
But then and then of course Ben in the present, Ben is destroying its eggs. I think at this point too. All right, Ben's destroying the eggs.
How
Okay.
many matches to eggs he had? Because he said he killed about 100, but he was hoping his matches wouldn't go out before then. Like
I don't know. It was like
This is-
Ripley with the flamethrower and
Yeah.
aliens. Try and get rid of
I
all these
thought he
aliens.
was going to set them on fire, so I was kind of confused.
I love this section here though, where Bill's like, "It's Audra," and Richie's like, "Fuck Audra! Like, we gotta kill this
Look at her
thing."
I
later.
don't give a shit if it's the Pope.
Yeah.
She might be dead, but
Richie
let's
comes into his
go.
own here too. I'm a fan of Richie in this whole section. But
I don't like how they leave Bev behind with an already clearly dead Eddie. Like, what? Like,
she didn't
she's
want to
not.
leave him. Or
She
some
didn't want to leave
stupidness.
them or something like that.
she
Is
felt
that what
bad.
it
I
was?
guess
She didn't want his face to be on the ground. I was like, he's dead. Though. Put your coat on the ground and then put his face on that.
Well, once you guys face off against a giant spider from another dimension and time, and
She didn't really
one of
face
our
off.
friends, one of you are in my lap, I'm just gonna let your face hit the dirt.
But I guess it's also like
If you're
the
gonna
whole
stop it.
parallel here, where like Bill and Richie were the ones that did it the first time too.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah,
but-
yeah. Well, no.
No, it was just Bill.
It was just
just
Bill the
Bill.
first time. Remember, Bill bit down the first time. It was just Bill the first time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, then I'm dead wrong.
Well,
I was like, everyone else just kind of stood there, and then they
You're
held
forgiven.
his hands, I think.
And they got him. They got him back.
They
I
got
think
him,
at
get
the
him
end.
back, yeah.
Okay, well, now this is the moment I've been waiting to talk about for, I'll say, about 20 months since we started this podcast, knowing that eventually we'd have to get to this section. And I am very interested in hearing what, obviously, the two women here would have to say about this. And I was teased like a couple months ago that one of these women will not be as harsh on this section. I'm curious to hear all about. So, ladies, you can begin the Bev idea.
The ritual.
The ritual of Bev.
The ritual
Of Booth.
Bev.
The ritual of
ritual of
Booth.
Bev.
Calling it.
Ritual of Booth.
Oh, God.
And if you wanna make love, you wanna make love, you wanna make love, I'll be right there behind you. I'll be right there behind you.
So, who wants to go first, Aisha or Mel? I'm very curious.
Let me hold
Wait,
hold
what's
back.
the title
I'm
of
going to be
this?
I think I'm going to be the biggest apologist for this scene.
For
So
the scene.
All right, let's hear it. Let's go. Let's hear it. What do you think?
So as I was reading this last part, I kind of was like, as I said, I was skipping through a lot of that extra BS that I was not about. But I purposely made time for this section because I had no idea what I was going into.
by the way, we have to timestamp this section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The ritual of
Yeah,
Bev
we're at,
with an umlaut over the E or something.
Yeah. Again, going back to what we were talking about, how like Mike is just kind of there. The lineup that goes on with the gentlemen or the boys that enter
the gentle
into
boys.
Bev.
The
The
gentle
gentleman
boys.
callers.
All right, it's just kind of like she has to convince. No, you know what, Mel? Go ahead, go first. Because
All right, okay, fine.
Okay.
With this.
Here we go. I will begin by saying that when I was a child, this scene was like felt very natural to me. And I think that's just because as a kid you wonder about sex all the time, and you also just have this general idea that when you grow older you're going to do it, and you might even do it with some of your friends, and to have that actually acted out on a page was not only natural but like cathartic to almost see as a child. And I do agree. I mean, Stephen King, these are his thoughts on it. He's commented, there was a Vulture article that pulled this from a forum response.
Yeah.
He said, I wasn't really thinking of the sexual aspect of it. The book dealt with childhood and adulthood, 1958 and grown-ups. The grown-ups don't remember their childhood. None of us remember what we did as children. We think we do, but we don't remember it as it really happened. Intuitively, the losers know they had to be together again. The sexual act connected childhood and adulthood. It's another version of the glass tunnel that connects the children's library and the adult library. Times have changed since I wrote that scene, and there is now more sensitivity to those issues. And he made a more recent statement when Vulture reached out to his agent for confirmation of that statement. And he said, that sounds like my statement. To it, I'd just add that it's fascinating to me that there has been so much comment about that single sex scene and so little about the multiple child murders. That must mean something, but I'm not sure what.
I would agree. Okay, we'll go back and forth. Here's the thing. Even as a kid, I didn't take any weird like offense or even necessarily find it to be problematic in the way that the scene is described. You know, I don't think there's any eroticism at all about the scene.
No, it's not titillating.
Awkward and weird like kid sex would be.
But my thing is, I often watch movies or like will read comments that people make, and I think, I'm not offended by this. I understand what you're saying, but why would you put yourself in the position? Because a lot of times what's frustrating is that people will just say, oh, isn't that the one with the child orgy in it? And like, if you don't have the foresight to know that people will possibly dilute it to that, then you've made an error as a writer. And I think that that's unfortunate. There's been so many times in my life, and whether or not those people are being ignorant and wrong, which I believe they are, obviously, it's just such a, what do you say after that? Like, yes, that's the one with the child orgy, you know?
But those are only people from our like, you know, like it's not, when this came out, it wasn't known as the book with the child orgy in it. Like, I think he's right about his statement about things being different back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's only our generation reading this book.
It's a shame that people just, I don't want to start. That's a whole other freaking story,
several
you know.
Disclaimers. I do not support child orgy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, and I don't support it.
Well, I knew that this existed a long time ago, and I obviously never read the book until just now. I don't think, for me, it was like, it could be in there. For me, it could have just been like, and Bev was with them, and she loved them. And their bond was strong again, but the fact that he spends like a couple of pages like in very, very descriptive of like, well, you know, he didn't quite get there, but you know, but then they thrust it, and then Ben's too big, and we don't need all that detail. He could have done it in a more gentle way. That leaving it up to our imaginations, like, okay, well, you know, but again, this is Stephen King, and he doesn't really do that. He likes to be very descriptive. Okay. I don't know if he would write it as he did.
Point.
Yeah, and I don't know if he would. I don't know if he wrote this book now, if he would write something like this. I definitely don't think he would.
You know, again, like I said,
too many.
I understand why this is happening in the book. I understand what she's trying to do and really trying to bring them all together to be common. You know, ultimately it does work, because once Eddie's relaxed, Eddie's like, oh yeah, we gotta go this way. He's like, I feel a lot better now. But it's like, why are you going to put yourself in the position to get nailed?
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Or 6 times in a nasty sewer.
Yeah.
But also like the connection she has, because okay, so I didn't read this as a kid, so like
I
get what Mel's talking about, like that when you're a kid dealing with those kind of issues, because I remember, you know, turning on the channel like TV, and you know, you'd have those way back in the day, you'd have those channels that were like the porno channels, but you couldn't see them, but like it would be like the wavy line.
No idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about.
Oh, well.
Justin's never watched porn.
I mean, well, I guess.
Never.
Just my TV in my house.
Of course.
But like, you know, you have that curiosity, and I like how he goes, there's this constant reference while Bev is hitting it up with each one to the birds. But also like this awkwardness of, she knows what they all know, like what their bodies are supposed to do and not do, whether they consciously want to admit it or not, but they don't have the words to formulate what that is. Cause she keeps saying like, did you, like, I don't know the exact term what she used, but like, did you get there basically? And I think Eddie's like, I don't know, maybe. And then it's kind of the same thing with like how they can refer to it. There's no they don't know exactly what it is before everything happens. They don't know how to really describe it. They just use what they know to kind of flounder their way through fighting it. And then the same with like growing up and going into adulthood, when you're changing from like that weird age of like your hormones are going crazy, but you're also still have an active imagination. You're still a child and you're trying to figure that out, and you're just blundering your way into adulthood. So
he draws that parallel so nicely when he talks about sex as it. Now she realizes that for many of them, sex must be some unrealized, undefined monster. They refer to the act as it. Would you do it? Do your sister and her boyfriend do it? Do your mom and dad still do it? And how they never intend to do it. So my complaints with this scene are very specific. Like, I think it's really stupid that she like does have orgasms and like it starts in this better place.
What's that?
Does she have an orgasm?
I think she does with Ben, right?
Sure,
and Bill.
Ben and Bill.
Yeah.
Bill, she has a couple, I think.
Is it a couple?
Yeah,
No,
it says, "Oh my."
It's
No,
just one.
no, there's one, or maybe it's because she had one with Ben.
Yeah, it's the
And
second
then she has one with Bill.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my god, this is gonna happen again. It's too much." And then she like rides the wave.
So when it says, there was power in this act, all right, a chain breaking power that was blood deep, she feels no physical pleasure, but there is a kind of mental ecstasy in it for her. Like, that feels very, very like true and appropriate.
Yeah.
But when it's like, when she's shouting like, yes, Ben, and like,
Show me how to.
changes.
Didn't she say, "Show me how to fly" or something like that?
But it's like
Show me how to fly. Yeah, it's like show me how to give me wings or something like that. Show me how to fly.
Ben opened up a whole new world for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
Lordy.
it's like, it starts out with Eddie. It's very innocent and awkward. It's like it kind of also shows the love they don't really touch on Stan and Mike as well, but like the love she has for each one of them, the versions. And I think we talked about this maybe last or the one before podcast, the different versions of love she has for each of them. They're still trying to figure out what that love is. And this is maybe like when she finishes with Eddie, there's like still that connection, but it seems motherly in a way as well, which is a whole other thing I didn't want to get in. But that crossed my mind when he also mentions it. But like Stan and Mike, they just kind of hit it and quit it. So like their love is like, we're friends, but
Thanks for the hangout.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
times.
And Richie, does she even talk about how it was with Richie? No.
It's like Stan, Richie, and Mike are totally glossed over.
I've got the chapter here. It says Richie puts on his Groucho Marx glasses and she laughs and giggles, and I'm kidding. That doesn't
She's
happen.
like, beep, beep.
But it's I understand. It's also,
Show me how to beep, Richie.
It's also that whole thing of like reclaiming something that was totally like. Now I know maybe I just missed it, but like, are we supposed to believe that she was in fact sexually abused by her father?
No, not this
We
point.
are
Just
supposed to believe that
abused,
he wants to
and
sexually
that he
abuse
wants
her.
to,
Yeah,
and
but
that
it
we
never quite-
okay. But I
This
think
day, it looked like
something
it was
that-
finally going to happen.
Yeah.
right, and that's something that she's been made to feel like dirty about, or that are accused or all this stuff is kind of like, you know what, like I'm gonna own this, and with the only friends I have, the people that I love. And again, I get it. I just still, I don't know if I
think I'm with you, Mac. Like, I do like that
It's-
she even says, she's feeling triumphant, and that the fear and the shame are gone, and so it's a reclamation.
and
of
it's her choice to do this with it.
Right.
Like she's taking
But-
ownership of it, but I just don't. I don't know. For me,
it's
it was
also
like it
just
didn't need to
like-
be there.
just driving home the fact that she's the only. It's very heteronormative and essentialist. It's like, well,
Can you
which
imagine? if they
which
were
one
just-
has the badge?
Yeah.
I guess.
Why couldn't they just be like? I mean, they all love each other. What would have happened if he was just like?
Where Eddie's
hey.
like, I've got an idea.
It's just
Let's
it's just
roll
a,
again.
Oh,
I think that's how it
man.
should go down 100% serious. It should be an actual orgy where
Yeah.
everyone is on everyone.
What if in the new adaptation, let me posit this.
Put it out there.
As adults, Eddie's like, let's go. We got to do this. Get out of here.
Whoa.
And right before his arm gets bitten off.
Yeah.
And then they also have the 25-minute section with Turtle Sam Elliott talking to Bill. That would be I'm all
Maybe
in.
they
once
have
again.
the orgy and they start floating up into the void, and then Turtle Sam Elliott is watching it, even though he's dead.
And now I'm picturing this turtle with a big gray mustache.
well, also another thing that's
Look good,
very
boys and girls.
interesting to me is that they spend so much time in this section, and there's a lot of parallels between what happens when they're kids and when they're adults. But they don't have to do this again as adults to get out. They just like.
Well,
just
the
leave.
thing caves in, right?
Oh, right, 'cause
Yeah.
they could just
It's
easily
over.
get out, right?
It's
Yeah,
over.
okay. Because that would have been really interesting.
What if they all just started having sex once they get out, just like in front of everybody else? Like, hey, you guys survived.
Bill's like, oh, I guess we got to do this again.
Oh, well.
Everybody's down.
Well, I thought that was a very good, mature discussion on a 12-year-old child orgy. I thought that was really well handled.
Hey.
I'm happy to hear everybody's thoughts, good and bad.
You know what I thought was funny? When she has that brief moment where she thinks she's gonna get crushed to death by Ben, and I felt bad for Ben for a second. I was like, "Oh, Ben."
Man,
Oh,
what if she had told him that? He'd be like, "Oh, let me just slide off here, slide off turtle style."
I can't.
Oh God!
I think we can all say that we're not huge fans of
What
the
if
scene.
what if the turtle popped up during the scene and was like,
of it more than most people? But
Well, then, it's fitting that the next chapter is called "Out." Let's get out of this section.
"Let's get out of Bev and let's get out into this next chapter." So here we go. Mel, you want the standpipe? Again, we get more Derry destruction.
we get high as balls Andrew Keene yelling at the standpipe.
Andy Keene.
His weed, man. It was.
Man, the guy's going for
Steven
it.
Spielberg, eat your heart out.
Sounds like a true stoner.
Yeah. And then we have Bill and Richie following it, like back farther into the lair as Ben is killing the eggs.
Thanks,
They
Ben.
have to like really get in there to kill it with their hands, with Bill's hands, really. And it is bargaining with them. It's promising them things like, oh, I'll let you live 500 years, or I'll give you whatever you want, because at this point it knows that it's lost any advantage it had. And as Richie is combating it outside, Bill just sticks his whole upper torso into that spider and finds its heart and puts its hands around it and squeezes till it explode.
Yeah, that's how they kill it.
Like so slow.
It's
the voice of the other says, "Son, you did real good."
It's like,
Well,
thanks.
that's why one of my final words I hear before I leave this earth is for a turtle to say, "Son."
It wasn't the turtle though.
Oh, it was the other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So
whoever that is.
here's my thing with this whole section is, for so long growing up, so I hadn't read this. It's for so many years, people just always talked about how wrong the miniseries got the ending, but they really, I mean, aside from the otherworldly, like darkness, deadlight section, all the physicality, even down to some lines that are said at the very end, and then they go and then they basically beat this thing to the pulp and reach in and rip its heart out. And
I think the issue is
very much like the book. So I don't know what people have a problem with.
How the spider looks. And they even talk about how they ran out of budget, and that's why spider does not look scary.
I agree.
That's the real issue: is how stupid the spider looks.
Because it just seemed like I was always expecting this ending to be very, very different, and it is to an extent. But I mean, they reach into this thing, pull the heart out.
I think it's definitely like, oh, this is kind of goofy, obviously. But if you want to liken it to their experiences as kids and being afraid of those old cheesy horror movies like The Crawling Eye and The Teenage Werewolf and The Mummy and whatnot, it kind of checks out that, of course, to kill it, you just have to tear its heart out. You know what I mean?
But are they really killing it? Because when Bill's flying through the void, he talks about how the fact that there's two parts of it. There's the it that in the physical world that they know, and then there's other it that's like, because he talks about how like he can't even understand as he's hearing the two voices of it speaking simultaneously to him. The physical Earth version is speaking in English, but as he's going closer to the other one, it's like this unintelligible language. So is he really killing it, or just the physical representation on Earth?
Well, that's why after the epilogue it says ... and clown laughter.
I think the physical it from Derry is dead, and whatever's left of Derry will just become kind of as normal as it can be. Although I think Derry is just destroyed. You know, there's not much to do.
You know
here.
what? You can't have light without dark. You know, I think it's always going to be out there to some extent.
Let's not forget Dreamcatcher.
Ooh.
Pennywise lives. Spoiler alert.
Pennywise lives. But I do think they do say, you know, there are those two separate parts, but it has invested its energy in our existence into this physical form, and this is how we heard it. Kind of. I don't know.
I think it's dead. I think it's dead. I really do think it's dead. Of all the killers and monsters in all the King books, it's not like I was gonna say they couldn't put Humpty together again or something, but I think it's gone.
So they kill it, and we get a lot of interludes about Derry disintegrating.
Paul Bunyan explodes.
The glass corridor between the libraries explodes. Houses are just like literally falling into the barrens.
There's an earthquake. Yeah.
They're carrying Audra out, but they can't carry poor Eddie out.
Eddie's still down there.
That
He's
is
still
so
down there.
sad
They
to
didn't
me.
even go back for his body.
I know.
That
Well, they
is
didn't
so
want to even. Anyway, that's also sad. But there's a sign of a possible good future for Derry, because when Bill gets out and sees an old babysitter of his and Georgie's, he raised his hand to show her he was all right. And when she raised her own hand in response, he felt a sudden surge of good feelings and hope. So that was a nice little, okay, Derry might be okay now. I think that was also indicative that it very well is dead at this point. And of course, there's a photo taken of Bill and Bev embracing, and the caption in the paper, survivors. Little do they know how right they were. And
we also, when they leave, the mark on the door's gone.
yeah,
Which I
mark
thought
is
was
gone.
interesting.
And Bev also sees when they're passing through the doors to the townhouse, she sees Eddie and Stan
Oh my
in the
God.
reflection.
in the reflections.
That killed me when I was reading
Trapped there
it.
forever, like their souls. That's what I
Oh
was thinking.
no! I think
No,
it was, I
because
think it was
Stan-
a nice, like they were with them.
Yeah,
even in the
because
end.
Stan,
In my
I think,
head, I was thinking.
because Stan kind of like grins or winks or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, like they got out. They did get out.
Yeah, their souls.
Like
got
they're
out,
carrying
essentially.
them with them now. You know what I mean? Like they
That was very
they did
sweet.
get them out of Derry, kind of thing.
Very sweet, not saccharine. I thought that was earned. This whole book is just a big love letter to friendship anyway, so it makes total sense to me.
Can I also get one of those shirts that says, "Where the hell is Derry, Maine"?
That'd be a great shirt to have.
I gotta get that.
That-
Hey,
That's
what
good.
what part are you talking about with the babysitter, Justin? I see with the boy.
Oh no! Right when Bill and when Bill emerges from the rubble out of the sewers, his old babysitter is there, and
Doesn't a cop hold her back or something?
yeah, but they look at each other, and Bill recognizes her and says that thing. He waves his hand, "I'm okay," and then she also kind of returns the wave, and he feels like there's hope for the future of Derry and whatnot. Like
It's
the
at-
adults
it's at the
are
end of
aware,
that. It's literally
awake.
like the last page of that chapter. It's Mrs. Nelson.
Yeah,
I remember your sister used to sit George and me sometimes, and he raised his hand. Yeah.
and then we go back to the
end of
one
part
last
two.
time, the oath, the big oath that's been talked about from the first moments of the book, and we finally see it happen,
It's a
and
great place to end this bit.
the circle closes once more.
To end with the promise, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we do get this impression that Stan knows something, because he's the one who like walks out, immediately breaks a Coke bottle, and is like ready to
He knows
do
the
this.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's always amazing that it's Stan that does it, and he's the first person that can't face it years later. I like that.
His
It
voice
also-
falters
yeah.
when he says, "I swear."
Yeah,
Oof.
getting a little nostalgic thinking about how long I've been reading this book and the journey we've been on with these characters again. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great ending to the main story before we get into the interlude and the epilogue. But yeah,
Talk about the circle closing. That imagery is just
beautiful. Yeah,
but it's everywhere in this last bit. All about the circle.
And there's that, and I might not be here. It might be in the interlude. I don't think it's in the interlude. I think it's right here, where I think when they're walking out as kids, Bev says something or thinks of the thought that, okay, now we can just be kids now. But it's like, no, like if anything, like your childhood's dead. You know, like,
well, the
Well,
thing
it was the
is,
saddest part when they remember they never were all together again. That it was never all seven of them
And they kept
again.
mentioning that throughout the whole thing, and it's kind of weird to think about that. Like they've been together and been through so much. What caused that? I mean, I know some of them like moved away, like Ben ended up moving and all these other things, but it's kind of like, how did they were never able to be together at the same time?
yeah. It's kind of like when Mel moved.
oh, jeez.
Hopefully
It's like the
they're going
inverse
to
of
do
Mike
it.
staying in town and everybody leaving. It's
I'm
the
just gonna
inverse.
go mope around like Charlie Brown right now. Excuse me.
Cue the Arrested Development
Mel and
scenes.
Dan.
I'm gonna stay away
Oh.
from the sewers. Then.
Yeah,
So
Who are you again?
we have to
she's the eater of worlds.
What's your
Mel.
last name?
Mel.
Justin.
The book is back. We have to cover it again. In 27 years.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Well, do we want to get to the last interlude here?
Yeah,
Derry,
let's-
the last interlude.
I love these interludes. I can't get enough of these interludes.
All right, Derry's final interlude, the last words from Mike Hanlon that he's written down in his journal that was recovered from the wreckage of the library.
Fortunately.
Yeah, the police chief wanted nothing to do with it, as I recall.
These are like the saddest pages of all time.
Yeah, basically we learn that the losers are already beginning to fade once again from each other's memories. But this time, even Mike's. Mike is now beginning to forget because his job is done, you know?
They take that as a sign that they really did do it.
Yeah.
They killed it.
And he's like on the phone with Richie at one point, and they don't
That's
know
so
each other's
sad.
name, like last names.
They can't remember Stan's last name, right? Or Eddie's last name? It's Eddie's last name.
But yeah, it's just...
No, it's Stan's last name, and then later Mike and Bill can't remember Eddie's
That's
last
right.
name.
Oh, that's right. That's
Which
right.
is so weird. Like, I remember all. I mean, is it that it being gone has wiped their memory?
I think it would be likening to if you were, like for me, if I was trying to remember a friend I had in like 4th grade's last name.
I remember.
Like, would I remember?
I guess
don't know.
I remember all my close friends, like the people that I would consider, what quote unquote best friends. I remember, but I may not see them anymore. I remember their last names. I mean, I remember everything. So it was weird that they like completely forgot.
I just feel like their whole relationships are pretty much disappearing, you know. And I think that I think King captures that awkward phone call with Richie and Mike really well. I feel like we've sometimes had those conversations with people that we've either fallen out with or just haven't kept close touch with, you know. And that's what it feels like, even though obviously they just saw each other, and that makes it even sadder to me.
And the pages are literally disappearing.
Yeah.
He can't remember their names, and the pages that he's written about their experiences are fading and they look really old, and he knows that they'll be gone soon. And he says, I could just keep copying them, but soon I wouldn't remember what I was even copying, so what's the point?
Yeah. I hope that going forward that Mike is able to have, I mean, he seems like he's pretty happy in Derry, just, being the head librarian. He seems like he's got like good acquaintances, but I hope that Mike finds true happiness going forward,
Find some companionship and starts a new library, and
hey, he can build everything up from the ground up.
Or maybe he can travel the world to different libraries, and
that's the other thing. Yes, maybe he finally leaves Derry.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for him. In my head, I was seeing him eventually leaving Derry.
I hope so. Mike, if you're out there, let us know.
I do love the Dick Halloran connection with his family is so weird and prescient. Like,
yeah,
the fact that Dick Halloran goes from the black spot in the town that was kind of a part of an evil entity to a hotel that is also an evil entity. Like, I almost wish there was more on the other side. Like, I don't know if Derry is ever mentioned in Dr. Sleep, or like, I don't know. It just would have been a cool thing to connect.
Derry is mentioned in Tommyknockers, right?
Oh, Derry's definitely mentioned in Tommyknockers. It's right next door, essentially. Yeah. We'll talk about that in some King's Dominion later on, too.
God, now I wish I read Tommyknockers.
Well, here's a copy for you.
I see. I'm like looking at it. I'm like,
it's crazy.
We talked about how much I loved how crazy the turtle bit is in the hit.
Well, we're going to be covering Tommyknockers sometime in January,
February.
So if you want to read it,
I just remember being a kid and that like that chant from the movie.
Tommyknockers, knocking at the door.
Yeah.
That's creepy, I guess. Then we also learned this section. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that he loved them.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Just the last lines. When he says he's thinking about some sort of new life, although just what that might be is unclear to me. I loved you guys, I loved you so much. In the past tense.
And then, because, a week from then, he might not even remember ever having had the best friends in the world.
So sad.
It's awful. It's like the old question, like, would you like to experience this if you knew that you wouldn't remember experiencing it in 10 years? Like, what would you even bother,
Right. Well, it says it cost them, the fight cost them their friendship.
Yeah.
I like to think that maybe on their deathbeds, they'll remember each
One
other.
last-
Like something will waken up in them. That's
It'll be like that part where Bev looks in the mirror and sees the reflection, like something like that.
Yeah.
Give me that cheesy ending. I'll be more than satisfied
It's
with it.
also crazy that Bev and Ben head off together, and it's kind of implied that they're gonna, if not be together forever, certainly be together for a while. And like how, I guess they just, when they're like, how did we meet? Like,
it'll be like, or it'll be probably one of those things like where, we grew up and we ran to each other at a reunion. That's probably all they'll remember. Because I think if you are obviously staying with somebody, it's not going to be like a 51st dates situation.
I was just about to say that.
Drew Barrymore and
I was
Adam
just sitting there
Sandler.
explaining one time in the sewer your dad entered me and
Oh, God.
We were children. I don't know how it happened, but we definitely got down
there.
there.
Was a clown involved, something like that.
I asked him to show me how to fly, and he showed me how to fly ever since. And okay, we also learned that Bill and Audra are going to stay at Mike's while she's in her state at this point too.
Catatonic
state. Yeah, 'cause she's obviously seen the deadlights, and once you see those deadlights, you're trapped forever. So
that leads us to the epilogue.
Ben Denbrough beats the devil too.
Yeah, ballsy to quote your own book.
Oh, man. And it's one of my favorite characters, the kid with the skateboard.
Oh, the kid in this. My favorite character in the book is that skateboard kid, because I love skateboarders.
He was the deepest character for me.
And he's referenced like 85 times in this section, as well as, of course, quoting himself, Some Kid, which is incredible. That's the name of my punk band, by the way, Some Kid, all lowercase letters. And this is when we learn, because obviously during the whole climax, I remember thinking, well, is Silver going to show up at some point? And then I do like how there was a purpose for Silver to show up, because he's able to once again save somebody the same way he was as a kid when he was able to save. It was Richie, right? And the werewolf beating the devil. Mm-hmm. So he's got this idea. We don't know exactly what's happening, and there's some flashbacks that happen here too, right? Or is it just more?
I think they're flash forwards. This is just how
that's
he
right.
dreams in his life now. He has a dream about leaving Derry.
Yes. And he remembers some things, but obviously not the key things. He doesn't remember it itself, or he doesn't remember exactly the friends he had. But there's some memory there. I guess it's the writer of him that is able to recall it all. But yeah, I mean, Bill gets Audra on Silver, and they go racing like he used to do as a kid, racing crazy.
Very dangerously, unadvisable.
Unadvised, never, especially with a catatonic person with no helmet on. I mean, that should be a. What if like.
You can't be careful on a skateboard, y'all.
Yeah, that's true.
The son of the Irish cop's like, oh, hey, boyo, stop there with that bike and the catatonic woman. It ruins the whole book. And it's like,
Think
fine.
of your wife.
Think of your wife, laddie. That doesn't happen. I wish it did. And so, he goes faster and faster. And like you said, Mel, it keeps coming back to him in a future where we don't know what's happening with him and Audra. And he's able to beat the devil one more time. And he is able to awaken Audra. And he gets his happy ending, essentially.
Boy, I needed that happy ending.
Yeah, I did. I did too.
I expected her to die.
Yeah. We needed some win, because they lost. Obviously, they lost friends, and they lost all their memories. Like, I needed some type of a win for somebody here.
This is such a tough scene to tackle, and I can't wait to talk about the miniseries. But
yeah, I like.
But I was really looking forward to this sequence, and I wasn't sure if it was even in the book, because I wasn't sure what was from the miniseries and what was from, and I really like this section just as much. So,
and I like the last lines here, where he says, Bill races with Audra, and then she awakens, and he says, she says, I love you, after she's fully awake, and he goes, I love you too, he said, and what else counts? So.
Well, you just can't remember it.
Yeah, you can't remember what else counts.
You don't even know about what happened here.
It's like
I still think it's a sad ending. The last line of the book is very sad.
Yeah, what is, because after that, then I think I might even have that in my word processor section. I think that's why I'll save it for the word processor section.
Okay,
sure.
The very
For the
last
ending.
line.
It's the way he dreams again and just kind of reaching back and not fully remembering. And then we have the epigraph. This book was begun in Bangor, Maine, on September 9th, 1981, and completed in Bangor, Maine on December 28th, 1985.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
incredible patience. And he also wrote a bunch of books in between, too. Think about that.
Not to jump to the end, but that's it.
There's no more.
Wow.
Now
we have done it. We
Such a
finished
long book.
Heroes and Villains. And
Where's my shot of whiskey for this?
I mean, let's think about it. This must be like 12, 13 hours, 15 hours probably at this point.
And we could have slowed down at any given point, like during what we were just doing to really dive into any of those scenes, but we couldn't because we have to keep on a schedule.
We have to keep on Silver.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some other things maybe we didn't talk about, or dive into it more with our future sections that we're going to have here.
So on that bittersweet note, let's just have a little more of the bitter, I guess, and talk about, after this book that really affected us emotionally and is about the power of friendship. What did we hate?
That's right. Let's go to misery.
Oh, just jump into the old misery.
She died. She just slipped away.
Slipped away! Slipped away! She didn't just slip away! You did it! did it! You did it! You did it! You did it! You murdered my misery!
Eddie!
We'll go around here in a circle if you want
Okay.
to, I guess. Like, the circle
I
opens.
don't have much.
I don't have much
a
either,
lot.
to be honest with you.
A lot of we've already talked about. Send them our power now. I
Care Bear stare.
just don't like that little bit. But again, in the grand scheme of the craziness of the end of this book, I give it a pass.
Yeah, sure. It's fine. I've got something that Dan actually alluded to in the last episode. There's a lot of weird blowing of scares. I think the allusion to Henry's talking about Frankenstein tearing off Victor's head. Like, why didn't we just see that happen? That would have been a little more scary.
Yeah.
He's just telling Mike what happened there. They kind of, somebody had mentioned, I can't remember who it was, that, Bev and Bill come to the realization that she had sex with all of them when they were kids.
Oh, yeah, I saw
that's
that, yeah.
weird to bring that up and then kind of tease it out. There's a lot of weird foreshadowing that doesn't work for me.
Or just like
And they're like, let's just go to bed.
Yeah. Interesting. Weirdo. I'm going to go to bed now.
The Tom and Audra thing, like how we just find out about what happened to them, but we don't actually see it happen.
No, but the book
Yeah.
is so long. Like, do you really think it just should have another 100 pages? Like,
No.
But I think they could have cut out the 4 pages of the descriptive sex
choose.
scene and then gone back to that.
I think the thing with Tom Mac might have alluded to this was just at least show us from his perspective going down to the sewers and then encountering, as opposed to just having it kind of as a throwaway in a paragraph.
Well, because we
And like
spend so much
him
time
only
with
to
them.
exist to take Audra down there essentially, and then just
Yeah,
to
it was
be
weird.
disposed of didn't
Yeah.
work. That's another mystery for me. I don't know who else has something.
I had one on 954 of my what do I have? Scribner? No, Simon and Schuster. Scribner, yes. And I think it gets at. I used to love this book so much because I saw so much of myself in Bev, and I loved Bev, and I just loved that she was like the one girl holding her own amongst these dudes. And I think this has been kind of a corruption and subversion of that childlike enchantment reading this as an adult. Exemplified in this little bit here. It's when Ben and she are hiding, I think, in the clubhouse. That sense of protection was hard to define, and she didn't try, although much later she would recognize the source of its strength. She was in the arms of a male who would die for her with no hesitation at all. It was a fact that she simply knew. It was in the scent that came from his pores, something utterly primitive that her own glands could respond to.
Yeah, you always talk about how you're like, does Stephen King know how a girl's body works? Because like her glands, like interesting.
Well, and it's also just so like I feel like he's trying to. Like, he's like, so on one end, you have Tom and her father who are terrible dudes, but Ben is the good dude and he will protect her. And just like, can we just have her on her own doing some shit? Like,
I hear you. I hear you on that one. I do. Aisha, you have anything specifically? We talked about some things already, I guess.
One of the things I had was during the Bill and Bev sex scene in the beginning, where it was like, for me, it was page 930 in the
first edition.
First edition, thank you.
ooh.
Yeah, she's got the real book
fancy.
here.
It's got my dad's name in it. Page 930, it says, as he entered her, she arched her back gently toward the thrust of his sex and muttered, "Be my friend. I love you, Bill." And I was just like...
I wish she had said "Be my lover" like the song "Be my lover."
That would have been even better. It's just like these random phrases, like it just kind of. Yeah, I'm not into most of King's like sex scenes because they seem kind of cheesy and everything. But like I could follow along. But then he inserts these like random, and maybe it's because I'm not in some sort of situation where a killer clown's trying to kill me,
True.
I don't need to say "be my friend," I love you, but like it just seemed like a weird thing to say.
He always uses love also in like outside of the context of the word love. Like he'll say I don't know. It's like put your love in me or love me, love or something like that.
Spent his love in her.
Yes, it's that type of thing. Spent
He's
his
very
love.
precious about,
He's very romantic, but it doesn't always work. I'll say that. He tries. How about this? Remember when Eddie's wife was really paranoid that something would happen to him?
Yeah.
What happened to her?
Like, did anyone? Because they do say at the end, they're like, and Eddie's body will never be found either. And I'm like, so you didn't call his wife and tell him that, tell her that her husband's dead?
She is forgot. She's with Al Pacino. Just thinking
I hope that
fine.
it was her and then Beverly D'Angelo. Hopefully that she found some love. But I thought that was pretty funny. Of all that, like all the paranoia actually came true. I talked about the whole eggs thing. I didn't think it had to be there. It just seemed a little like a last minute addition to a plot that was already moving forward. I don't know, that's my thing. My last thing before I cede the floor is something that really bothered me, and it's in my Kindle edition. They misspelled sportscaster Bryant Gumbel as Gumble. It's actually Gumbel. So I just wanted to
we don't
point
know
that
if
out.
this is our universe, Justin.
Oh, you're right. Bryant and Greg Gumbel were spelled differently in this When and Where. You're right. I take it back. I apologize.
But they mentioned Al Pacino, so I think it is our universe.
It might have been a different.
Well, it's
Al
not like
Pacino.
every name.
Yeah, or it could be Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Al Pacino.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I had one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so minor, but it kind of caught me off guard. So there's a point where like Henry's chasing Bev, and when he's looking for her, when they're doing it from his perspective, he's standing in the river, and they talk about how the water boils over his sneakers. Then later, when he's climbing down into the what's it called, the Morlock hole?
Yeah.
And like they grab his leg, and Richie's pulling, and his shoe falls off. The shoe that falls off is called a loafer. And I was like, that just threw me. Do we call sneakers and loafers? I don't know. For me, that's like a.
Oh no, I know. Yeah.
I'm a stickler for that kind of stuff.
Well, tennis shoes were. No, I know we're getting really like historical here, but
yeah.
I'm trying to think of when like really effective or affordable tennis shoes for everybody were popular. Was that in the 60s? So I don't know if people even had tennis shoes back then, or sneakers.
But then they do say tennis shoes at one point in the book too. Like I know little bits like that. Like,
yeah, I can understand
Yeah.
if they, that's.
If you're writing a book that's 1,000+ pages, get your facts right.
Yeah, don't throw. Well, I guess like don't throw specific like facts at me and then fuck it up later.
I feel like between that and the Bryant Gumbel gaff, I mean, it's just irresponsible writing.
Yeah,
I had one more of a like just a weird writing thing. It's just one sentence on 1054. Bill held the match up ... and uttered a long, trembling, despairing screech. Like, what the fuck does that sound like? That is too many adjectives to describe a screech.
That sounds like or something like that.
Oh, much like
I won't say anything else.
They're all screaming, and he like ran out of ways to like describe. That's just too many. Just say he screeched.
I'm okay with that.
I would rather just say he seemed like Screech Powers or something like that.
God.
Let's go.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, and obviously, I told you my issues with the child orgy scene. I still feel like
that's in here.
You're setting yourself up for people to be critical. And
I just had the Ritual of Bev, and then the Nightmare Spider Beyond Time and Space. Although I like that line, but again, not a whole lot. Of misery in this section or for the book, really.
But did you get the creepy crawlies at any point in time?
Well, we should talk about that.
Kind of creepy right now.
Oh, well, then I know where you belong.
Ooh.
Where?
In the cemetery.
What's the bottom of the truth?
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back. It may look like that person, but it ain't that person. Because whatever lives in the ground beyond that cemetery ain't human at all.
Ooh. Randall, eat your heart out.
Okay, I'm just going to run down a couple, and then we obviously go around.
Yeah.
Bev, we talked about this already. Bev running through the town away from her father, and everyone just ignoring it. I thought it was just really creepy, as well as Henry, just even when he's a child, being haunted by the moon. Just kind of stuck with me. What about you?
I guess one of them was, like you were talking about Bev in the chase scene, but also I was looking at like Mr. Gray. We talked about this earlier with sending the knife and having an address, like a return address, but it I forgot what the exact address was that was on there. There was another thing that I had for Cemetery, which was like the scene with Audra in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like where the finger comes out and like grazes across her heel.
That's exactly what I have.
Yeah.
Oh my god, even just the light coming on in the bathroom is so freaky.
I think for me, to piggyback off of that, is I have the cold finger caressing the bare heel, which happens a couple other times in the section. That creeps me out more than anything. It's like the teasing almost. It's like something's right behind you, you know? Like that's the fear you have if you've got your feet hanging over your bed. Is there something just grazing your ankle? I mean, that creeps me out more than just somebody tearing somebody's head off, essentially, you know? I don't know. That's definitely one for me.
I've got, I think it's page 938, when Mike sees the head of Belch on a Jack-in-the-Box when he's going delirious, when Henry stabs him.
Oh, yeah.
Which totally reminded me of It's a Good Life, the Twilight Zone episode, where he turns the guy into the Jack-in-the-Box, and it's just really unnerving.
Send him into the cornfield.
Yeah. Then the description of Henry as he gets thrashed with the Perrier bottle, it's just disgusting. Also, when they go into the room and Henry's just kind of winking at them, and the corpse looks like it's winking at them, I thought it was really creepy.
I thought the whole scene in the library was really creepy, how he sees them from the feet up and the glittering eyes after having the sense of being watched, and again just realizing it's a physical presence that can really hurt him.
And also Bev, once they see Henry's dead body, saying he still looks just like a kid, essentially. Like he never really grew up. That's creepy as hell too.
I wanted to read the bit where they realize that like not everything is okay in the adult world. On 988, Mike thought of lunch with Bill. Bill's mother had been off in her own dreamy world, seeming not to see either of them, reading a Henry James novel while the boys made sandwiches and gobbled them standing at the counter. Richie thought of Stan's neat but utterly empty house. Stan had been a little surprised. His mother was almost always home at lunchtime. On the few occasions when she wasn't, she left a note saying where she could be reached, but there had been no note today. The car was gone, and that was all. Probably went shopping with her friend Debbie, Stan said, frowning a little. He had set to work making egg salad sandwiches. Richie had forgotten about it, until now. Eddie thought of his mother. When he had gone out with his Parcheesi board, there had been none of the usual cautions. Be careful, Eddie. Get under cover if it rains, Eddie. Don't you dare play any rough games, Eddie. She hadn't asked if he had his aspirator, hadn't told him what time to be home, hadn't warned him against those rough boys you play with. She had simply gone on watching her soap opera story on TV as if he didn't exist. As if he didn't exist.
Yep. We talked about it a little earlier, too. I agree. That really bothers me. Just the knowing that nobody's going to be there for you, you know? Everybody's just turned their back on you, essentially. Love it. I have... to go back to the chase scene, I've got a part here where little Lars sees Al Marsh running after Bev, and he said, and there's a bit here that came right, so he goes, he saw something terrible and inhuman in Mr. Marsh's face. He had nightmares for 3 weeks after. In them, he saw Mr. Marsh turning into a spider inside his clothes.
Nice.
Nice little foreshadowing. That's nice foreshadowing there, too, by the way.
I thought there were bits of the eye that were so gross.
Oh, I agree. I've got something there, too.
I got... go ahead.
No, you go first, Mel.
All right, so on 1042, Bill put out a hand and it slapped into a gluey, yielding wetness.
Ugh.
The eye, his mind screamed, oh God, I got my hand in the eye. Oh God, oh dear sweet God, the eye, my hand in the eye.
That would be going through my head too, to be fair.
Because for me, eye horror is like something like I can't watch it because like I'm very sensitive about my eyes. So as much as it was cheesy to me, like the idea of like ripping the eye open or being in its goop, that creeps me out.
I'm literally like trembling over here. But within that section, once again, in the darkness, Bill felt those branch-like tentacles caress his ankles, his shins, but he could not move. His body was frozen solid. Ugh. Again, that just like imagine these things like just teasing, caressing your legs. Hey, yeesh, I say.
Yeah. I think I had one more, and that was like we talked about this earlier. The scene of them, Belch and Henry in the car, but just like so when he's starting to kind of apologize in a way to Belch, and Belch doesn't say anything. He just turns his head, and I like the description that I can't find the exact point where he first talks about, but the second point where that scream of dried tendons again. Belch looking at him again with his one sunken eye, and his lips stretched in a terrible grin that revealed gray-black gums, which were growing their own garden of mold. And it was like, I could hear like that kind of sound, the squelching and the squishing of everything as he's like turning, and like that would if Belch was talking to me in the car and I was in that car, it would still freak me out, but I'd be like, okay, at least there's some sort of commentary. It's not I'm not totally crazy, but like him just staring and then going back, and then when he passes out for a little bit and he wakes up and Belch is still driving, but his face is like right in his face, like. Ooh, that gave me a little bit of a...
Belch is consistently creepy throughout this entire thing. Anytime he shows up in anybody's imaginings or anything, he is just creepified. But yeah, that right in the beginning of that section when it just says his face was a hanging ruin, like that, all the descriptions that you just read, that was on mine as well. Yeah, it's really creepy.
There was something else here about that section that reminded me of. I forgot to write this down, but tell me what everybody thinks of this. This actually might be in my King's Dominion section, but I might as well read it now. This is when he's about to leave the car. Henry stared, his heart beating painfully in his throat, and then he seemed to hear something move and shift in the back seat.
Yeah, what the hell?
Is that supposed to be George LeBay? Like,
I don't know.
And he's going to take over
like
the car again or something like that?
More Pennywise? Like,
I don't know. But that was really left to your imagination as to what that could possibly be.
Maybe it's just Victor.
Where's Victor back there?
It might have been Victor or Belch moved to the back. Because doesn't Belch disappear when he looks back into the car? Is Belch still sitting?
I thought
when he gets out, looks back, he's gone. But I was just thinking, who would be shifting in the back seat?
My thought was that Belch like climbed into the back seat. And just, like,
that's weird.
Anyway,
I thought
so
that was creepy too.
Yeah. The description of Eddie's arm when when he gets torn off or whatever.
When it gets broken or when it gets bitten off?
Both.
Either way.
Mine was when it gets bitten off.
Yeah.
There was some other ones, but it's all stuff we kind of already went into detail with as we read through the book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hints of like the jaunt here that get to me. The eternity in the deadlights is very scary, where he says, I'm looking at page 1071, where it existed as a titanic glowing core, which might be no more than the smallest mote in that other's mind. He would see it naked, a thing of unshaped, destroying light. And there he would either be mercifully annihilated or live forever, insane and yet conscious inside its homicidal, endless, formless, hungry being. Pass, as Justin Gerber
A hard
would
pass,
say.
hard pass. Hard out. I'm a hard out on that. We talked about Mike not knowing if he's getting through on the phone because Pennywise is still screaming at him the entire time.
Yes.
I love this description though of when Georgie is attacking Bill, or the Georgie guys is attacking Bill, and Bill could smell its breath, and there was a smell like exploded animals lying on the highway at midnight. It's like exploded animals lying on the highway at midnight. That's a gross descriptor.
That whole Georgie scene is like pus is running down his face the whole time.
Like as
gruesome,
tears,
psychologically damaging as well. You know, it's his little brother. Can you imagine Mac coming up to me with exploded?
If you can't recall, that's his little brother.
Of course. Do we have established that, by the way?
Not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this was more of an action-packed section. Obviously, we're resolving things, but there were still some creepy moments, obviously, for me. But that's all I've got right now for the cemetery.
Whose first read was this? Was it Mac's first read and that's it?
No, also Aisha.
Too.
Yeah.
Did you guys think, like, did you ever fear that they might not come out on top, or did you think it seemed pretty preordained?
I think for me, I kind of knew, like, because they kept foreshadowing the entire way through that, like, some people were going to die, and I figured the core people would stay alive. I knew Mike wasn't going to die because of just kind of, like, watching the miniseries and, like, remembering him, like, getting pulled out. I guess I knew it was going to be a completely happy ending. I just wanted to see, I wasn't sure how it would play out and like what would be the connections to the end.
Yeah, and I didn't know exactly how, I mean, I had seen the miniseries many times, but I didn't know how faithful that was, you know? So I wasn't sure who exactly was going to live, or if it was like so-and-so dies in the book, but in the movie it's different. It was a different person, or I don't know. So reading it was pretty dismal. I mean, I definitely thought that some things were going to happen that I did not know about. And they do. Everything kind of happens the way it does in the miniseries in terms of characters and who lives and who dies, but it happens slightly different ways. So I felt like it was still kind of interesting. Or like Mike being attacked in the hospital. I didn't see that coming because that's not in the movie or anything. And stuff like that. But
there's definitely enough changes to keep you on your toes. You've seen the movie or the miniseries.
Yeah, I was still extremely interested or whatever. But yeah. Or
it's
even,
a mark of a very good writer to keep you interested.
Absolutely, especially the 1,100-page book.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's talk about the writing that we liked in a section we like to call Word Processor of the God.
And we're going to make a new rule. Whenever I'm in here, you hear me typing. Whether you don't hear me typing, what the fuck you hear me doing in here, when I'm in here, that means that I am working. That means don't come in. Now, do you think you can handle that?
Yeah.
Fine. Why don't you start right now and get the fuck out of here?
Justin, I know you always have a lot for this. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah. Okay. I except for obviously the inner workings of Bev's desires of how Ben is a good boy in the smoke hole. I do like the smoke hole. I mean, in the clubhouse, I actually do like how, Bev tells Ben that she knows it was him, and Ben denies it. He feels uncomfortable, and then she tells him, thank you. And she tells him, no, it was sweet. And then I like how poor little Ben just goes, thank you. He said, he paused trying and brought it out. He was even able to look at her as he said it. I wrote the poem. It's like, love little Ben. I just thought that was a nice little sweet moment between two kids. Anyway, that's one thing I've got written. Anybody else have anything?
I have one where Bill is kind of like, he and Bev are walking out of the library after their like midnight session. Not the sex part, but like at the library. Yeah. And he looks back at Ben, and he basically, I didn't write the page number down on my notes on this, unfortunately, but I wrote what paragraph it was. It was the first paragraph with italics. And it basically was paraphrasing that love is what matters, better than no comfort at all. And it was kind of like, why is Bill going home with Bev instead of Ben? And it was kind of like, I wish you could, buddy, but like we're at this point, this is fated to be, and it should just matter that we love each other, and that's all that counts. Which ties back to what Bill says at the end to Audra. So,
right.
Yeah, it supersedes like jealousy and all these petty emotions. Doesn't matter.
They really did a good job.
There's
there's never a moment in the grown-up sections where Ben and Bill have it out. There's never a moment like that.
There's never a moment of competition.
Yeah, I like that a lot. He could have easily devolved into that, but it never gets there. There's such an understanding between all of them as soon as they
Ben
reunite.
had a little bit of like light jealousy,
but there's never like a confrontation.
It was never confrontational.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, Ben even says he would never blame Bill or Bev if that's how things shook out.
Exactly.
But you'd be sad.
Oh, he's definitely, I feel sad for him, especially as a kid. But anyway, Mac, do you have something?
We walked through a lot of these, so I don't want to repeat them.
That's fine. I mean, do you have anything, Mel, written out or anything? Or?
Yeah, I had a couple that were like, I'll choose one that were just descriptions of the Barons. And when they go back as adults, this is on page 1018 of the Scribner, their path had long since grown over, and they had to force themselves through tangles of thorn bushes, prickers, and wild hydrangea so fragrant it was cloying. Crickets sang somnolently all around them, and a few lightning bugs, early arrivals at summer's luscious party, poked at the dark. Bill supposed kids still played down here, but they had made their own runs and secret ways.
Yeah,
just like all the bugs, and there's another part where Bill is looking at the Barrens and thinks like, "There's so much life down here."
I think that's when they get out. I think that's what he's thinking about. Yeah, I remember that part too. That's near the end. I want to talk. We teased this. We teased some of this out when Eddie's dying. I think that for everything that Eddie had been through as a kid, obviously they all went through things as a kid, but just his upbringing and in his adult life, I just thought that the fact that he was never able to find peace until he's dying, there's something comforting in that. And I'll read this bit here. The full section, I should say. Far away, unimportant. He could feel everything running out of him along with his life's blood. All the rage, all the pain, all the fear, all the confusion and hurt. He supposed he was dying, but he felt, oh God, he felt so lucid, so clear, like a pain which has been washed clean, and now it's in all the glorious, frightening light of some unsuspected dawning. The light, oh God, that perfect rational light that clears the horizon somewhere in the world every second, becoming clearer and clearer, emptying out all the impurities flowing out of him so he could become so clear, so that the light could flow through. And if he had enough time, he could have preached on this, he could have sermonized. Not bad, he would begin. This is not bad at all. I like that a lot for little Eddie on the way. Eddie Spaghetti.
Aww.
Yeah.
This section is actually really long. It's at page 1149 in the Scribner edition, I believe. It's the section on leaving. No one read this, right?
What's up?
I don't think so.
It's the leaving. So you leave, and there's an urge to look back just once as the sunset fades, to see that severe New England skyline one final time, the spires, the standpipe, Paul with his axe slung over his shoulder. But it was perhaps not such a good idea to look back. All the stories say so. Look what happened to Lot's wife. Best not to look back. Best to believe there will be happily ever after all the ways around. And so there may be. Who is there to say that will not be such endings? Not all boats which sail away into darkness never find the sun again, or the hand of another child. If life teaches anything at all, it teaches that there are so many happy endings that the man who believes there is no God needs his rationality called into serious question. This goes on for a few more paragraphs, but this whole section here, it's just the whole idea of just like leaving your childhood. It's just pretty gorgeous.
Yeah. King is away with writing about childhood, as we've established a couple times, I think. Believe it or not, breaking news. King writes children pretty good. Does anybody else have anything else?
I have one more.
Yeah.
And it's actually one particular line within the paragraph that catches my attention, but so it's on page 1055, and it's when Bill is fighting with it, and it's being sent far out, and he kind of feels like this is when he's hearing both the physical version of him talking to him as well as the Deadlights version talking to him, and he's losing the signal of the Earth version. So he says, not just to send him out to whatever it really was, but to break their mental communication. If that ceased, he would be utterly destroyed. To pass beyond communication was to pass beyond salvation. He understood that from much from the way his parents had behaved toward him after George had died, it was the only lesson the refrigerated coldness had to teach him. And it's that line that says, to pass beyond communication was to pass beyond salvation.
Yeah, that caught my attention.
It's hugely important. Yeah. It's the whole reason why they're able to do anything is because they share with each other their fears and just even their belief in it initially, even when some of them are reluctant to do so. It's like a integral component of their friendship.
It's so important to have.
And it's what the rest of the town can't do.
Right.
I guess you need your friends.
It's pretty interesting just to think of, like, even in the human context of how we interact with each other as well. Like, when we're able to, like, open up, and that's how we make friendships and, like, establish who we can trust and who we have connections with, even if we don't see them for years on end. If we needed to come back and kill a psycho killer space alien clown, we could. So I think that, for me, resonated a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it just ties into, like we said, the entire relationships that have been building this entire time and the importance. So, agreed.
I liked one bit from its perspective that I liked about the quality of the human imagination. It had come here long after the turtle withdrew into its shell here to Earth, and it had discovered a depth of imagination here that was almost new, almost of concern. This quality of imagination made the food very rich. Its teeth rent flesh gone stiff with exotic terrors and voluptuous fears. They dreamed of night beasts and moving muds. Against their will, they contemplated endless gulfs. And that's why we're the best kind of food. It also, on the next page, said it had made a great self-discovery. It did not want change or surprise. It did not want new things ever. It wanted only to eat and sleep and dream and eat again. And I just like this
story of my life
of it as like conservatism in that way.
Eat, drink, repeat. I've got one more, but it's the last paragraph. So if somebody else has anything else,
yeah,
well, that's what mine was. So go for it. Yeah.
Everybody else have anything else?
Done?
Okay, I will read. I think Mel, you alluded to this earlier. The last. He awakens from this dream, unable to remember exactly what it was or much at all beyond the simple fact that he has dreamed about being a child again. He touches his wife's smooth back as she sleeps her warm sleep and dreams her own dreams. He thinks it is good to be a child, but it is also good to be grown up and able to consider the mystery of childhood, its beliefs and desires. I will write about all of this one day, he thinks, and knows it's just a dawn, though, an after-dreaming thought. But it's nice to think so far a while in the morning's clean silence, to think that childhood is its own sweet secrets and confirms mortality, and that mortality defines all courage and love. To think that what has looked forward must also look back, and that each life makes its own imitation of mortality. A wheel. Keep that in mind, everybody. Or so Bill Denbrough sometimes thinks on those early mornings after dreaming, when he almost remembers his childhood and the friends with whom he shared it. Nailed it.
So sad.
Nailed it. I mean, nailed it, right? I mean, that's what a great ending to that story.
I need something spongy to sop up my tears.
Oh, I've just been baking something.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, Mel, I don't know if you know this, but Mac made cookies for all of us. But you're not here to enjoy the cookies.
I also made.
God damn it, Justin.
Pancake.
I also made some pancake.
Oh yeah.
You fucked up our transition.
After all you've been taught, everyone isn't bad, Mama. Everything isn't a sin.
Come to your closet and pray. Ask to be forgiven.
He's a nice boy, Mom. You like him. You really like him, Mama.
We're finally here. This is why everyone's listening to this. Mm-hmm. We've got page 944. Bill talks about, I got to slow down or I'm going to shoot in my pants like a kid. And they talk about his stony thickness.
Damn it, Mac. That's one of the things I have. The stony thickness of Bill's cock.
Wait, what about even before then?
Mons
on 915. Yeah, Mons Veneris.
Thank you. I was like, I wrote it down and underlined it and circled it.
Mons
I can't say them all.
Veneris.
He wondered what it would be like to touch her breasts for the second time in his life, and suspected that before this long night was over, he would know. Fuller now, mature, and his hand would find hair when he cupped the swelling of her Mons Veneris.
Ooh, how erotic.
Justin?
I do have one thing here. It's more of a fart bit. It's when Belch and Henry and they're all looking for Bev, and Bev is hidden with Ben under the clubhouse roof, and it says, Belch lets out a loud and fruity trumpet blast that seemed to go on for at least 3 seconds. I like how the kids also start laughing at how loud this
fruity
is.
Trumpet blast.
Fruity trumpet. That's disgusting. A fruity trumpet blast.
Because I'm like, what kind of fruit? And then,
I think like Fruit Loops or something like that he had that morning with milk.
Fruity.
He is not embarrassed when he later learns that he was sitting right on top of them. It never even occurs to him.
He's such a disturbed individual to begin with. But yeah, that's all I actually have, because even the orgy scene, there's nothing really funny or anything like that about the way it's written. It's kind of tender, obviously, But anyway,
I have one more from Bev and Bill.
Oh.
Is that what you have too?
Maybe go for it.
She became aware that this wasn't going to be just a cum. It was going to be a tactical nuke.
I can imagine like putting on our sunglasses, like check it out. CSI Miami.
That's definitely one I had. Yeah.
Aisha, do you have something here?
I had two that are kind of within the same context of like the Bill and Bev sex scene. Going back, and the first part is like right before they're actually having sex, where they're talking about and I think one of you referenced, maybe it was Mel, where every time they're holding hands and feeling the power, Bev is somehow doing something sexually related. So mine is page 900 in my version, first edition. Bev's hips bucked twice fiercely, as if an orgasm as short and sharp as the crack of a .22 pistol. And I
boom,
I felt that.
Boom.
I felt what that. No, I didn't.
We've all been there. We've all felt that crack of a .22 pistol. What else did you have? The same section?
It was talking about Bill's erection again, and how he's getting an exalting sense of power from his rock hard erection. And every mention of like erections in this book has like this fun little adjective, stony, rock hard, like a branch. So I should have started taking notes and like listing.
I've got
all
another
the
one.
adjectives.
I've got another.
Is it the one near the end?
It is.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
in one of my favorite moments of the
time?
book, one of my favorite moments of the book. Well, I don't have the actual line written down, but Audra happens to put her hand down there, and it's a cheerful erection.
I'm sorry. It says she doesn't just happen to. She grabs his crotch, where there was a huge and cheerful erection.
It was like a huge and sorrowful erection.
Yeah, huge and
he really associates erections with like these moments of power that have nothing to do with sex at all, and it always takes me out of it. Like, it's just like they're having this great moment, and it's like, also he was hard as a fucking rock.
Yeah, I can't relate to this at all. I don't know what
I'm wondering though, is that like he's writing this because again he's under the influence and he like looks down, he's like, shit, I have a rock hard erection.
I'm writing the fuck out of this book.
Let's do this. Bills has an erection, I have an erection, we're all having an erection at the same time.
I hope that
the circle opens.
I imagine every time he talks about erections he has an erection.
I hope so. Let me text him again, see if he gets back to me on this one.
Well, I hope that's not true, especially when he's writing the orgy scene. But
oh, Jesus!
Ooh,
well,
all right. So
okay.
Now we're moving.
Are we all
from...
full? Have we had our taste of pound cake?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Let's jump on that turtle and go for a ride.
Oh yeah.
Where are we going?
Through the entirety of King's Dominion.
There's another world out there.
I know there is.
I got some things here.
4, but one we've mentioned at nauseum. The Plymouth
Can
Fury.
someone just read the introduction of Christine? I just like that moment.
Somebody can find it.
I think I've got it. Hold on. Yeah. Someone else do another one.
I got it.
Okay, you got it. Go.
Yeah, he reached the intersection of the seminary path and the sidewalk and peered at the car, trying to make sense out of the hulk behind the wheel. But it was the car he recognized first. It was the one his father always swore he would own someday, a 1958 Plymouth Fury. It was red and white, and Henry knew, hadn't his father told him often enough, that the engine tumbling under the hood was a V8 327, available horsepower of 255, able to hit 70 from the get-go in just about 9 seconds, gobbling high test through its 4-barrel carb. I'm going to get that car, and then when I die, they can bury me in it, Butch had been fond of saying. Except, of course, he had never gotten the car, and the state had buried him after Henry had been taken away, raving and screaming of monsters to the funny farm.
Oof. Christine, her fury, her vengeance.
Maybe it's his dad in the back. I don't know.
Oh, you guys wish. God bless him.
I don't have the... Oh, I do have the page number. It's page 1138 in Scribner. When they're trying to remember people's names, they say so-and-so Underwood.
Yeah.
And I gotta think it's a little Larry Underwood nod.
I didn't write that down for some reason, but I do remember that moment.
Yeah. And then the only other stand one I had was the 1069. They say, be brave, be true, stand. Mm-hmm. And that's when they're fighting it.
Very stand reference, yeah. Anybody else have some? I've got a couple here.
Go with it.
Yeah, go for it. I've only got one more.
I just thought the sewers bit was like very Shawshank. Because they're just like climbing through shit. Like Stephen King loves to write about people climbing through shit.
Or living like a porta potty or something like that too. Yeah. Future short story that will disturb everybody. Richie is staying in room 217.
Yes, that was the next one I had.
Okay, sorry, Mike, I took that from you.
No, that's fine.
During Derry's collapse, a woman in Haven Village named Rebecca Paulson found a $50 bill fluttering from her back door welcome mat, 2 20s in her birdhouse, and 100 plastered against an oak tree in her backyard. She and her husband used the money to make an extra 2 payments on their Bombardier Skidoo. Rebecca Paulson is a major character in the Tommyknockers. And is also, the Tommyknockers was an extended version of a Stephen King short story called, I believe, The Revelations of Becca Paulson. And it's the same person.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Let's do some numbers fun, shall we?
It's getting real.
Some Gerberlytics.
Gerberlytics ahead. Keeping in mind that Tom died in the sewers before Derry started to collapse. Before Derry started to collapse and people were dying because of it. Okay, here, keep this in mind. So, we learn that Derry sees the deaths of 67 people killed and 320 injured. But if you add Eddie to the tally, because he died during the disaster and during the Derry collapse, the total number of dead and injured people comes to 388 people. 3 plus 8 plus 8 equals...
Is it 19?
It's 19. And here's another number one. Some Gerberlytics here. The grown-up losers emerge from the sewers at 6 minutes of 11, which makes the time 10:54. 10 plus 5 plus 4 equals...
21. Blackjack.
Yeah.
19 equals 19.
Hit me.
Why does King like 19? I'm still not.
It's just the number that.
Was he born on the 19th?
It's just the number that means.
I don't know.
That means everything.
His first orgasm when he was 19.
He probably was rock hard and had an orgasm at 19 with a powerful.
The rock of the ages.
A stony thickness.
He has 19 orgasms at one time. there.
Folks.
I have one.
You got one more?
Room 237.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, page 1110. Richie says, and this is a little stretch, but it wouldn't be room 237 if it wasn't. He says, "Try this, you bitch. Do you love it? Do you love it?" He says it. And I wanted to say
close.
that it is like, I wish he had just said, "Do you love?"
Yeah.
Because it would have been
Raft.
such a great little throwback to the raft.
I thought
and don't they mention that in
Nona.
another story? In
A
that
couple, Nona, and also
Nona,
there's one other one that they reference it into, yeah.
God, I wish he had just left off it at that point.
Oh, well.
Like we don't say it enough in this book.
Well,
all the wheel stuff. I mean, Mac, do you want to go to your Mac heavy section?
No, the things we're
not
glean
gonna
along
do
the
things we glean
beam
along the
have
beam.
been gleaned.
the wheel at the very end in that last
The
paragraph.
wheel, I mean,
alone.
Cos's
The
wheel.
we did talk about that. Everything else that I had on here, you know,
turtle,
there's a lot of
obviously.
like turtle cannot help us. The turtle, this, that, and the turtle shows up for God's sakes and has like becomes a character in the fucking story. So
Can't talk about it anymore.
there isn't
Cosmic
anything that we
shit.
hadn't already
gleaned it.
covered. Yeah,
Okay.
we gleaned that
Well,
turtle.
Beams
I mean,
gleaned.
if you guys are done with your King's Dominion, then it's time to rate the book using the rating system that is derived from this very book.
I can't believe it.
Dad, can we go now?
You ready?
Yeah, we've been ready for an hour.
Okay, I'll be right there.
You said that a half hour ago. Yeah, my dad's weird. He gets like that when he's writing.
I will go first with my final thoughts on it. I have always said that this is my favorite Stephen King book, or at least I've always said that it's tied with Pet Sematary as my favorite Stephen King book. I think, to reiterate what I've said on these episodes, it is an epic that succeeds because of the intimacy with which it becomes epic. It's really an epic across 7 people and their friendships, and the friendship feels very real and very emotionally resonant to both children and adults. And I think one of the most admirable things this book does is that it almost actually reads like it was written for children, even though it's definitely not. Like, children shouldn't be reading this book.
No.
But the way that it is presented and the way it reads, it just accesses that part of me, at least, and definitely makes you feel very childlike. And the way that he is able to actually switch that tone, I love how much more serious just the tone and the language becomes once we get into the grown-up sections, and how his writing actually mirrors the transition between childhood and adulthood. I do agree with him that this book is kind of a mess, like formally, that he didn't really like know how to organize it, that maybe things got lost or loose ends didn't get tied up or things weren't very satisfying. And I do think that his treatment of Bev ended up being a disappointment to me this go around, when I had really looked forward to returning to what I had once seen as a nuanced portrayal because I was a child myself. So because of all of this, I do still think it succeeds. But I'll downgrade it to a 4 bright red Pennywise clown noses out of 5. Which means Pet Sematary is in my top slot, but I'm going to read this book multiple times before I die.
Yeah,
again.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'll run down these ones real quick here. Dan Caffrey, he says 4.5 bright red Pennywise clown noses for this loser, and he's got a clown, balloon, and turtle emoticons. Randall says 4.5 bright red Pennywise clown noses, almost 5. Due to the completeness of the vision and the wonderful ensemble, but it's undeniably unwieldy at times and too much wacky horror. We joked about that, especially in the last episode. I kind of agree with that. Mike's is a little longer, so we'll read this one. If we're to take it as a tome of King's strengths, it's an epic success fueled by greatest hits of horror tropes that can and should scare every reader, both constant and new. This isn't the gateway book for King as most attest to, although it could be. Reason being, the strongest facet to the 1,200-page epic is the theme of friendship, something King nails with precision. An expansion of the seeds he set in motion with the body from different seasons. For that, it works great if you're a kid, and even better if you're an adult, dealing with the growing pains of success, failure, heartbreak, loss, or more often than not here, what could have been. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't revisit this again in the future, and truly be lying if I said it wasn't the conceit of this podcast. True. So for this loser, Mike Trashmouth Rothman, he says here, that little bastard, I give it 4.5 bright red Pennywise clown noses. So there we go. Aisha, what do you got?
So, as a newbie coming into this in the sense of never reading the book, but watching the movies first, and then coming back as my chair slowly turns away from the microphone, so maybe it knows. This was a relationship that was very hard for me because I was reading it. It's a lot, and coming into it with no kind of background, it was hard for me sometimes to like struggle through, especially because I was like, I have to have things that are ready, and I was kind of not reading it so much to just like intake it, but also to like reflect on it and have like notes on it.
Yeah.
I definitely will try to read it again in my, as Mel said several times before I die. I might lose out a few times on that, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. There again were many parts where I was sickened in the sense of like we could have cut out like a good 900 pages and I would have been happy. There's other parts where I was kind of disappointed where we had talked about this and other things as well as today. Like he could have fleshed out these scenes more, or given me more information, and I would have been way happier than like the excess that he went into. But then again, I remember the context of what this was written under. So, but it did crit me out. It did give me, I learned a lot of new words for sure. I learned about thenotic or whatever. This was in the last chapter. So I would give this 3.5 to 4 bright red noses.
3.75.
Yeah.
Bright red penguins.
Because there were times where I was feeling the high with Steven, and then there were times where I was like, I need to put this down. I might.
I dig it.
Fire.
I got you. So. Mac.
This is my first time reading the book, and it really met all my expectations. There were things obviously that we said, were dated or whatever, in the time in which it was written. But for me, I gotta give it 4.5 bright red Pennywise clown noses. It's really up there for me. I think, and I don't know who was saying it, but it's just the epic quality of the book. I felt like it was very earned. There weren't whole sections where I just felt like they could have just completely cut this. Like I felt like it all led to something, and it did it for me. It's a 4.5 for this loser.
Did I give the lowest score? I'm so sorry, Steven.
No, it's okay.
Apologizing.
No. I mean, like I always put these books up against my fave, which is like the Dead Zone. This is a completely different book, but it's hard to kind of gauge. Well, where does it fall on the pantheon? But yeah. So for me, it's 4.5. I think Mike and everybody said gorgeous things about it, and I don't really have anything else to add. But yeah.
I'll try to add some more gorgeous platitudes if I can possibly. Something else.
Give us that gorge.
Here we go.
Poetically.
Let's get my quill pen out here and start writing. Hopefully, it doesn't disappear. I think it's also a testament. We haven't really talked about this that much. Is that King, not just King, but a lot of writers will write these 1,000-page books, and you always look back and say, "God, I wish that had been like half as long. It would have been so much better." Even The Stand, for instance, which is about 1,000 pages. We talked about how you could cut like whole sections out of that. It'd be so much better. But there isn't a lot of sections I cut out here. And I think that's a testament to still keeping me entertained and engaged in this paperback edition I have is like 1,090 pages. And to still keep me engaged after having read it a couple times. We've complimented it ad nauseum, I think. The childhood passages especially, the relationships between the kids, King looking back on childhood is the most effective for me. I had to call it back effective here. The adult stuff also works for me better, especially in the book, than it does in the miniseries. I like Mel, I think you put it best is how it's kind of presented to us in an adult way, and the kids are presented to us in much more of a childlike way, and I like that a lot. I actually think the structure worked for me, especially as it went on, and especially in the last part. I do like the back and forth between the present and the past. I liked how words would cut off and you pick up another section. I love, again, the bonkers turtle section. I'm all in on that. And I actually, if anything about the climax, I wish that they almost doubled down on that. because I understand what he was going for with the heart and the spider, but it seemed a little too clean to me, I think. So that was a little bit of a letdown. But of course, the last interlude and the epilogue are so good that kind of it almost makes the end of the main story an afterthought, I guess. I think Randall kind of touched upon Pennywise at times gets a little too jokey as it goes on. I think I mentioned his Letterman jacket the last episode that says number 13 Pennywise from the Dead School or whatever the hell it is.
School.
Just a little too many bits here and there, especially as it went on.
Everyone's dead.
It felt like almost, and I hear everyone talk about this being his like magnum opus. I feel like he was just like throwing in all his tools in one book, and he was like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I don't care. And like you said, like for me, the Ritual, I almost said Chüd was like one of my favorite just because of the way it moved. But like, and we talked about before about the chase scenes as well. Like they went on for so long, but it worked, even though there would be points where I'm like, oh my God, will this not end? And then something would happen. And I'm like, and when you think about it in real life, chase scenes are not like 30 seconds long.
No.
Like they go on forever until you're exhausted. And then you are in those moments of panic and despair. And I feel like reading this a few more times, I'll start to grow to love it. And especially I'll be reading it under a different context.
I agree. I think it's hard, especially the fortunate thing is most of these books that we've covered that I've had to be on, I've read them in the past. So you kind of have that in the background. So when you're taking notes, it's easier to be analytical and critical after you've already just experienced it as an entertainment vehicle, you know? So I totally understand where you're coming from in that regard.
Also a huge added pleasurable layer to kind of experience the memory loss and the memory regaining if you've read the book before a while ago.
Agree 100%. But but I will say I think this is just I still love this book. I really do. I think ultimately though this is a step below for me Pet Sematary and The Dead Zone so far. I think there's other great books that I remember loving a lot that we're going to get in the future by King. But again, maybe like with you, Mel, my opinion will change a little bit. But I would give this 4.5 Bright Red Pennywise Clown Noses. I will be reading this again, I'm sure, in the next decade or so. I can. There's always something to go back that I will always forget something when I reread it, and they'll come back to me, and it's more often than not satisfying, you know. So this has been a very pleasurable experience. I didn't feel like I was ever really a slog the last 3 weeks. There's just so much to talk about when it comes to all of this. Those are my real final words on that. I love it, you know.
We give him shit for like forgetting characters or like not balancing them well, but it is really hard. There's 7 main characters.
So much going on.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I should have also mentioned, I think Mike's actually literally outside this recording studio. I've locked the door, but I am, of course. He might say all these things, but people can say things that are not true, as we all have established on the various mediums. The people have spoken. I am Richie Trashmouth Tozier, so
he's trying to get in the door.
He's trying to get in the door. He's pounding on the door. I feel like this is a horror scene. I feel like Richie when the Wolfman's chasing after him right now. Anyway, all right.
We have fun.
We do have fun here. All right. Anyway, that's my last little Richie bit. Anyway.
All right. Well, those are our ratings. I don't know what the average was. Somewhere approaching 4.25 ish.
It's in the fours. Mike is screaming furiously out there. I can't understand. My headphones are on.
I'm scared to leave this room.
Yes, we're all afraid.
We let him in?
No, absolutely not. I feel like we're all in the clubhouse right now, and he's going to let out a fruity blast. I think, we all enjoyed it.
It's been such a journey, an over 1,000-page journey, and again, this is the book that the podcast's name is based on. I came to the podcast late. It was like last fall.
Yeah.
And it feels like such an honor to host this last book episode about it, which is such a cornerstone of the podcast itself. So thank you, everyone. And I love you guys.
Oh, I love you, Mel.
We love you too.
And I think Aisha, now that you've been on the podcast and especially on the IT podcast, I mean, we've been referring to you as an honorary loser, but you've definitely, we want to give you the mantle of an official loser if you will accept it.
Can I cry tears of pus?
Georgie style.
Georgie style. Oh my god, yeah, no, this has been a fun experience because like growing up with a father who like is obsessed with Stephen King and like not really getting it but like enjoying it anyway. Growing up, this has been fun. Mel talked me into it one day at work when we used to work together, and I'm glad I decided to do it because this has been eye-opening for sure. I'm learning so much.
Are you in?
I'm in.
All right.
All right. Well, let me get let me get the broken Coke bottle here. We're gonna go around and cut our palms.
Can we sterilize?
This is very modern. Like, can we stand if we could sterilize that Coke bottle, please?
Okay, Eddie.
This is very exciting. Yeah, there we go.
Finally got a nickname.
Well, and also, like, if you are feeling sad because now you will have to remember this musings on childhood and the friends with whom you shared it, it's not actually over. This is just the book portion.
True.
There's a whole other episode coming down the pike on the adaptations, including the miniseries and the more recent Muschietti, is that how you say it, vehicle?
Sure.
So we will be discussing that next week. And what's our next book?
The next book will be in about a month, and we are returning to the Dark Tower.
Ooh.
The Drawing of the Three.
Drawing of the Three.
Can't wait, and this tower head's going to be all over that one.
I'm going to actually get through that book.
There
Because
you go.
I stopped for a while because I was like, oh God, someone stabbed my face.
Here we go. It's coming up.
Yeah, and that will be the last book of 2018.
Yep.
Which is a huge deal.
Yes.
We're closing out the year.
I feel so special.
It's wild. But yeah, we really are. It's coming down. It's been a long year, I feel like. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it was the summer of Castle Rock. A lot of stuff happened this year.
There's a big break there too, yeah.
And then, as is custom, there will be another season of the Losers Club in 2019. 2019.
Yeah, we should really promote the hell out of it like that too.
That will kick off with Misery, which is a substantial piece in King's oeuvre, which I am very excited to hear about.
Yes.
So I don't know. There's like tons of stuff happening. The Losers Club is going strong. And
we got a lot of movies coming out next year too. I know we're already teasing the next season, but yeah, we got a lot of movies coming out, shows, and obviously books. Yeah. It's all happening.
He's still writing. He won't ever stop.
Hell, he's got a book. I think by the time this episode airs, a new King novella would have come out, aka a novel, whatever they want to call it. So, yeah, we're still going strong.
And we're also in the process of planning another King Fest. Film fest.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
Missed the last one.
So yeah, so that'll be on the way. So look out for details on that. And yeah, this has been a wild ride. I love that we're talking like it's the end of the year, but it's not. We're ramping up.
Huge. Like,
I know it's like a month and a half worth of coverage essentially so far. So yeah, it feels like a big deal because it is a big deal.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for the King Fest news. That's like the live event where you can come watch Stephen King movies and meet the losers. Last year it was at the Music Box Theater, and I think this year it probably will be as well, or next year rather.
I hope you fly back this time, Mel, or something.
I'll do something. Yeah, we'll make that work for sure.
Yeah. Well, we can also Skype you in and just have the computer sitting there so people can talk to you.
I was gonna say, what's those like motorized the segways and just put like an
God,
like Robot Mel
with silver dollar eyes.
In some capacity.
Nice.
Definitely like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We are on Instagram, we're on Goodreads. We are now on Spotify. You can download and listen to the podcast there, as well as the other venues that have always been present and available to you. It really, really helps when you leave us reviews and rate us. I know that is something that everyone says on a podcast, but they only say it because it's true. And we really appreciate it. We read every single one of them and we talk about them. So if you want us to talk about you in our group text, there's a sure way to do it. Yeah. Review the pod. I think that's it. Anyone else have anything?
I think there's only one thing left to say.
All right.
Long days and pleasant nights.
I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. But you know you want somebody to treat you good.
You've made it to the end of another bloody, disgusting podcast. Congratulations. If you like our programming, consider searching for other bloody, disgusting podcasts, such as Creepy, Horror Queers, The Boo Crew, SCP Archives, Nightlight, Margaret's Garden, and more.